Yeah.
Just because they feel like, what's the point? And so they don't take pride in cleaning their house or themselves.
Yeah, it's just
Man, I saw and this is random, so I'll just Google things, but there was a conversation that came up about how many times I brush my teeth a day. I don't know where you guys are on this. It's normally 3. It's never less than 2. Sometimes it can be as many as 5 or 7 times, depending on what's going on.
5 to 7 showers a day, is that what you just said?
No, brushing the teeth.
Brushing teeth. I thought you said showers. I'm probably max 4.
I mean, that's probably about where I am every day. But I'm just saying it's never less than 2. The average person is a little less than 2 brushes a day. There was like 15% of the people don't even brush their teeth once a day.
Well, let me ask you this. You've been at home for more than a beat, and you're going back out you're not just running to the store, you're like going somewhere extended. Do you always brush your teeth?
Always.
Me too, every single time.
I'll tell you this. I used to, when I would get up in the mornings to run, again, this is another, I've got issues, but I would brush my teeth before I would go run because I don't want to get hit by a car and then have bad breath.
I want my youngest.
I would think a dead person has bad breath anyway.
Well, probably initially.
Maybe, but I'm hoping I survive.
Yeah, maybe not initially.
Yeah, and then you got to talk what happened.
If somebody's got to do mouth to mouth, you don't want it to be morning mouth, right? This is a weird compulsion by me, I'll admit it. But
I brush my teeth when I'm going to the doctor.
I walk my daughter to the bus stop every morning, and I brush my teeth before that. The only person I encounter at that bus stop is my daughter.
Yeah. But
I still brush my teeth. I'm going outside of the house. I don't know why I do that, but I do it every single morning.
You ever brush your teeth in the shower?
Never done that.
No.
The only reason I see to do that is to hurry, and I've never been in a big enough hurry that I need to brush my teeth in the shower.
Yeah, I used to, but now I've got the water pick. So I do the water pick. I only do it once a day, but I do it in the morning.
Oh, I do too.
And then I'll brush my teeth after the water pick.
Water pick is a game changer.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, it replaces flossing, I'm told.
Yeah, I still floss once a week. Now, I was trying to floss every night, which is a pain in the ass, much easier on the water pick.
Yeah, water pick just makes my mouth feel fresh.
But anyway, my whole point on this, if you only
those.
brush your teeth once a day, you are lazy. Something is wrong with you.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Well, I don't consider it good hygiene, but maybe some people can get away with it. I think your average dentist says more than once a day.
Yeah, brushing takes 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's very easy to do. Oh, you had one more story?
That's it.
Oh, is that it? That's it?
No, I do have one more.
You got one more story?
Dude.
I thought I see one sitting over there.
Tracy Morgan, we brought this up yesterday, shared an update after his courtside medical incident at the Knicks game. He went on to say, quote, "Thank you all for your concern. I'm doing okay now. Doctors say it was food poisoning." Now, he turned 56, or he is 56 now. He shared this on Instagram yesterday, alongside with a photo of himself giving that thumbs up that you see right there. He goes on to say, "Appreciate my MSG family for taking such good care of me. I need to shout out to the crew that had to clean it up. Appreciate you. More importantly, the Knicks are now 1-0 when I throw up on the court, so maybe I'll have to break it again out for the playoffs." Now, Morgan became ill during the Knicks game against the Heat. MSG, Monday, March 17th. Attendees claimed on X that the comedian vomited while others alleged he had a bloody nose. One image appeared to show him vomiting onto the floor. Another social media video saw him being taken away in a wheelchair. So they delayed the game in the third quarter for roughly 10 minutes. He is actually working on an upcoming untitled comedy pilot on NBC opposite Daniel Radcliffe, who was the Harry Potter kid, right?
Yep.
And Tracy Morgan is going to play a disgraced former football player looking to remake his image.
And Daniel Radcliffe, I believe.
Because you've quit going to the gym, it doesn't mean that you have to quit gym altogether. Dunaway, that is. With our Next Round podcasts open 24/7, 365, you can access gym anytime you'd like. While you may have done away with your treadmill routine, our version of Dunaway is standing by ready to get you back to your absolute best. Find all that lovely Jimmy D-led content on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and in the podcast section of nextroundlive.com. This message is sponsored by Jimmy Crypto Inc. and Jimmy Crypto for President.
All right, Auburn fans, I want you to become a member of thebarnauburn.com and join in on the fun. Whether it's recruiting discussions, off-season chatter, or the latest Auburn athletics news, we've got it all. Get $25 off your annual subscription when you sign up for your account at thebarnauburn.com today. War Eagle.
When you crave activity like we do, you belong in the Roback family. Get the best golf wear, hoodies, and activewear for men and women at Roback.com. Use promo code TNR20 to get 20% off your order. That's Roback.com, promo code TNR20.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown, Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
Welcome to March Madness, everyone. It is finally here. Along with Lance Taylor, I'm Ryan Brown. We are about to head to Cleveland, and Jim Dunaway will join us from there with the Alabama Crimson Tide. Taylor Korn in Lexington with the Auburn Tigers. She'll be with us a little bit later on. We live for this time of year in the sports calendar, and here we are. It's March Madness.
You know, we always talk about there's monumental things that happen. You know, the older people watching or listening might remember exactly where they were when Elvis passed away. You know, we all remember where we were when, 9/11 unfortunately came upon us as a society.
Where are you going here?
I was going to say, I remember almost like where I watched all the first-round games, first-round upsets, where I was at those particular venues. I mean, this is, even for like marginal basketball fans, there is something so special about this tournament.
Yeah, would it stun you? Do you remember we brought it up yesterday, the the Georgetown upset by
it wasn't an upset. They came a point, I think it was 51-50.
Yeah, by Princeton.
Yeah.
I was watching that in a clubhouse at a golf course. Would that stun you?
That will not stun me. I was actually at a sports bar in Los Angeles.
Also, would it stun me?
Yeah.
That's a complete...
So I'm just saying, like, you can remember these things. Like when Bryce Drew hit the incredible three.
I remember it.
I was at that Damon's place over on Highway 31. We had the little personal speakers. And I remember our boy Michael Spisto knocked over a beer because he was so excited about it, knocking Ole Miss right out of the tournament.
Right,
but those moments, man, that you can just remember. I remember being in my fraternity house when James Forrest for Georgia Tech hit a big three.
Wow.
It was almost a half-court shot. I mean, there's just, Scotty Burrell for Connecticut, the inbound against Clemson.
Oh, you're getting me fired up now.
There's just so many of these incredible moments. I don't know if you guys agree with this. The last second shots in most games, I mean, your probability on a make like that is like 35-40% because of the situation, the degree of difficulty. It seems like those shots go up to about 75% when we get to the tournament.
In the tournament. Jim Dunaway is standing outside of Rocket Arena in Cleveland, and the sky behind him looks like I always imagine Cleveland looking. Welcome in, Dunaway. How are you?
There's been some surprising things about Cleveland so far. The weather is not one of them. It's about 49, 50 degrees, I'm told, outside of Rocket Arena here. And it is cloudy, we'll get some snow this weekend while Alabama's here, hopefully long enough to see the snow. And it's good to be in the house that LeBron built. I'm right about that, right? LeBron, when he started playing really good, they moved into this new arena when they signed him and built this thing right next to Progressive Field, which is across the street from me here, 19 days until opening day here, they say. So we've got practice here, not as exciting as what's going on in Lexington today, but it's a big day. Alabama gets to shoot in the arena, and I'm told the rims are friendly. So if you're an Alabama fan, friendly rims, that's a good thing.
You want those friendly rims,
you,
don't you?
You do want the friendly rims. So that is the house that LeBron built. But, when we went to a 12-team college football playoff, we were like, weather is going to become a factor for these Big Ten teams. Now Alabama goes up as a 2 seed. Weather is a factor in postseason basketball, right?
They'll play it indoors, thank God. But it is.
I'm just talking about travel because
just moving around the city will be weird.
Yeah. You were going to drive up Dunaway, and you can tell us your planes, trains, and automobiles because Brown was kind of filling me in last night at trivia on the interesting day you had traveling. But I think there probably is a couple of Alabama fans that might be making that drive to Cleveland. How far is it? 10 hours?
Yeah, just a flat 10 hours. It's an easy drive, and
flat 10.
In fact, I would have driven right past Rupp Arena. I got to drop Little T off and then continued on up because that's the route it takes you right through Lexington and then up there. And there was about halfway through my day yesterday that I was griping that I had not driven because 10 hours, the weather wouldn't have been bad, and I would have been there in time for a nice dinner with the Crimson Tide Sports Radio Network. When they texted me and said, hey, we'll meet down in the lobby at 6:15, Chris Stewart, Brian Passing, and Thomas Dipe, I said, can we go somewhere close to O'Hare in Chicago? Because that's where I am right now. They opted not to do that. They went out here for a steak in Cleveland. But the journey was not fun, but it was nobody's fault. Everybody's like, well, you're on American Airlines. You should fly Delta. You should do Southwest. You should do this. It wasn't America's fault. It was the atmosphere's fault. There was tornado warnings in Chicago, so I landed there. And once I landed there, unless you had a big plane, and the little planes I was on all day yesterday, you weren't going anywhere because of there were tornadoes. The Chicago James fan was on all afternoon while I was there until about 8 o'clock Chicago time, when I was finally started trying to get on some standbys. And I finally got to my hotel at 1 in the morning. So it was a good trip.
You know,
then I got confused on the time zone and set my alarm. You know, your phone changes with you. And so I set my alarm. I said, I'm going to sleep at least until 7. And then I'll get up and do the show before I go over to the arena. And I called Brown at 7 o'clock on my phone. Didn't realize it was 6 o'clock, waking Brown up, or he was up. But at 6 a.m., phone call from Dunaway, not on his bingo card today.
It would have been back-to-back days, though. The other one was for the airport in Birmingham. So you finally made it, and now you're there with the Crimson Tide of Alabama. Little T down in Lexington with Auburn. We'll talk with her later. But from the Alabama point of view, you were with them in Nashville. It went from the highest of highs to, I won't say the lowest of lows. It's not like losing to Florida ended the season. It just ended the trip to Nashville. But there were two different feelings you saw from that team in Nashville. If they can bottle up what they had against Kentucky, and by the way, the level of competition they're playing is a lot closer to Kentucky than it is Florida for a little while here. This is a team that can certainly make a deep run.
Yeah, the confidence level of that team going into the Florida game was as high as it's been all year long, because even with the losses, they played good enough, they thought, to win at Tennessee, except for the final minute of the game. And I will say I thought the same thing. That was really a great effort against a good Tennessee team. The effort down at Neville Arena, I mean, that may be the best team in the country, and you went into their place and beat them. And then you did to Kentucky what you've done to Kentucky 2 other times. So a season sweep, 3 wins over Kentucky. And then you run into the buzzsaw that was Florida. And I was in that locker room, and for the players, Jaron Stevenson told me, you know, we need to recalibrate ourselves and just get a little bit tougher. And that's what they were talking about in that locker room. We just got to get a little bit tougher. So they'll start with that with Robert Morris, and then likely a St. Mary's game, maybe. I don't know who LT thinks will win that one, and try to get out of Cleveland and move on and get to that Sweet 16 again. But all in all, I think this team's in a good place. Grant Nelson's injury won't be as big of a factor tomorrow as it could be on Sunday, and then obviously as it would be on the Sweet 16. But I'm looking forward to the open practice this morning. We go in about 40 minutes with interviews, and we go right after that to an open practice. So I'll be looking to see if Grant Nelson, that'll be one of the first videos we send out in our covers. Welcome to delicious coverage from Cleveland. We will welcome you to Grant Nelson and see how he's moving around on the court, if he's out there at all.
Yeah, I'll be really interested to see if Grant plays at all today against Robert Morris. I mean, kind of a tomorrow, excuse me. Kind of a Cooper Flag situation now against Mount St. Mary's. You know, what do you do with the minutes? Do you want to get them in a little bit? Keep the conditioning up. I just you obviously don't need either one of those guys. Duke doesn't need Flag. Alabama doesn't need Grant Nelson in this situation. But do you play them a couple of minutes just to see how they are in live action?
Yeah, I want to see what it's like in practice, and then I'll make that call later on if I'm the coaches. But, these first-round games when you're a 1 or 2 seed, I would rest them, LT, and then take a look, because I see them in the shoot-around. I see them in the closed practices. Alabama worked out last night at the Cavaliers practice facility. So they were over there last night. They got a good sweat in, probably a better workout than they will get here on the arena floor this morning. I came this morning to talk brackets, because this is our 15th, 16th bracket challenge that we're about to do. And is everybody's brackets locked in? We can talk. We can talk about the games. Is everybody locked in?
Are you locked in? You know where you're going. You're not going to change anything.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm locked in.
I guess I'm locked in. I've got one that is way out there. It's probably going to cost me this year. I'll go on and tell you.
Oh, my gosh. Well, why are you doing this?
I'm just because I like this team a lot. It probably will not work out, and it will get me beat.
So the team you've picked to win.
Not the team to win it all, but to get to a Final Four.
To get to a Final Four. Wow.
Yeah. I think it ultimately, I mean, it could be like I win this thing going away, or it's going to take some maneuvering late if this team does lose early. Because I've got a team in the Final Four that actually could lose in the first round.
Oh, no.
Well, yeah. So BCU is where he has them out there. I see
I do like
listen,
VCU.
I think I know who you've got. I think I know who he's got. He's tipped his hand a couple times this week. I watched this guy, Dunaway. I watch him like a hawk.
But yeah, we can roll. Yeah. First of all, we need to find out what the bracket challenge is. But yeah, I'm ready to get into it whenever you guys want to.
I'll leave you guys to the debate on what the bracket challenge is. You know my feelings, but I'll leave it up to you guys. It's a 2-1 vote.
Wait, what are your feelings?
You don't like the spray tan, which is what everybody wants us to do.
And it has nothing to do with well, I know we can dial it up, but it's not offensive darkness of skin. I just don't want to do that at SEC Media Days because that's such a big event for us. But I will do whatever you do. But I wanted to talk. Let's don't give away our Final Four. We can do that after it's absolutely locked at that point because I don't want it to be skewed anyway. Let's just talk about these first round games because I know you love the fate against me, LT, on my gambling side. So I put out my favorite place today because, my buddy's going this trip to Vegas every year. And I historically went, what was I, 2-30? Is that what it was?
I don't know.
I thought it was bad. 1 and something, but it was bad.
It was bad. So here are my plays today, and I'd love y'all's reaction. I love Creighton money line, but I'm going to go ahead and take the 2.5 just in case. I like Creighton plus 2.5. All this griping and moaning about Louisville not going to matter for Auburn. What do you think?
I'm kind of with Jim on this one. Louisville's a 2.5-point favorite. MyBookie.ag. I like Creighton in this spot.
Yeah, I will say that I did not give this game out, but I do like Creighton.
Okay,
it's a tough game, but I like Creighton.
It's good for Louisville, so we're 3-0 on Creighton. All 3 on Creighton.
That is good for Louisville.
Congrats to Louisville for advancing.
Here's what's happening in Las Vegas, though. Because of my 2-30 weekend that time, they are fading everything I sent them last night.
Okay.
And I had time to work on this in the airport for hours yesterday, and they're like, all right, these are what you really believe in. I said, I believe in them so much, I Venmoed them money to place the bet. So these have actual hard Dunaway cash on them. I like Clemson giving the 7.5. What do you think about that one? I like Clemson giving the 7.5.
I do like Clemson. I do have that game available, but I'm not telling you which way I necessarily like it. But I do like Clemson to win the game.
I think I'll just go and say it. I think Clemson's the team you've got in the Final Four that could
kill
you.
McNeese is. Am I supposed to? When you get to the Final Four team, should I say it or do you guys want to wait?
No.
Okay.
Jim doesn't want you to.
Don't give it away yet.
I'll go on the record as saying Clemson is that team.
Here is the scary proposition about McNeese State. Not only are they a single-digit underdog, but they have won 57 games over the last couple of years. They've got senior guards. I don't think the moment's going to be too big. I think it was last year. And I don't think they're as sexy as a first-round pick upset as they were last year.
Yeah, and didn't they make the announcement last night, or did I, in delirious world, did they not announce that a deal has been worked out for Will Wade and NC State? I think that announcement was made last night.
I don't know if it was formally made, but, I mean, I was talking to I had a Calcutta on Tuesday night, big NC State grad, and he said it's pretty much a done deal.
Yeah.
So I think that's the understanding. But like when I looked this morning headlines, I did not see that was in stone.
4 more quick plays here, Brandon. I'll let you tell you about one of our great sponsors. But Gonzaga minus the 6.5. I'm giving the 6.5. I like the Zags here with their defense. I know they haven't lived up to expectations, LT, but I'm giving the points today.
I mean, that's a tough game. I mean, I think Gonzaga wins. I stayed away from it.
I mean, it feels like Gonzaga done away. We did an exercise yesterday where...
Now, I got to say, this mighty SEC's already 0-1.
Yeah. And fired a coach. 0-1. 0-1 and moved on from a coach.
Bad start for the SEC.
Yes. Not only did they lose their first game, the coach in said game apparently is out of a job. So that was a bad start for the SEC.
So I think Georgia will make it... that's another loss right there.
So, by the way, and I don't want to hijack this, but Landmine Believer says Texas is going to go after Will Wade. If you're Will Wade, would you take NC State or Texas?
Texas.
I'd take Texas. In a heartbeat.
Yeah, not even close.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat.
That's a no-brainer.
Yeah, if I'm Will Wade today, I'm like, we didn't sign that NC State stuff, did we? Because bare minimum, you're about to jack up what you're going to get from
I'll
NC
tell you
State.
what, Texas messed the whole Chris Beard situation up because you've got to let that play out a little bit. I don't know if that would ever be fixable. Now, our buddy Chip Brown out of Austin, and he was the first to report.
First I saw, yeah.
That Rodney Terry was out. He believes that, and this is even before this game was in stone, he was like, I think Texas, if they get in, will be the play-in game against Xavier. And I think it's going to be the committee having a sense of humor because I think Sean Miller is the guy that Chris Del Conte probably wants. So, and I think Sean Miller's a hell of a coach. So
I do too. And he was the guy that was at Arizona, right? That
same
got
Will
caught
Wade
up
situation.
In the wiretapping, the whole thing too, right?
Whole deal, and all that's so far in the rearview mirror now.
Yeah, I would rather have Sean Miller than Will Wade. I think they're both really good coaches.
My thing with Gonzaga is I think they're underrated based on their analytics. But Lance made the point yesterday that the good teams that they have played, weren't they like 2-2 or something like that?
Yeah, Dunaway, the teams they've beaten.
Beanie Note.
Yeah, I mean, so they've beaten four top 50 Ken Pom teams this year. St. Mary's, after getting swept in the regular season, beat them in the West Coast Conference Championship. I'm trying to remember the other three teams they beat.
They weren't impressive.
Yeah, it wouldn't be anything you'd be like, damn, those are great wins.
Like their strength of schedule, old school Gonzaga would have played. They would have had all these wins stacked up in November and December. That's not this year's Gonzaga. So,
okay.
I mean, the analytics.
Maybe a bad play.
I don't know.
Yeah. Drake plus 6.5. I'm taking Drake today. I'm taking Utah State plus 5.5, and I'm taking Michigan and giving the 2.5. Those are if you love to fade me, there you go. Those are my
I'll tell you, we're on a lot of opposite sides. That's all I'll say. Yeah, I do.
But you love that, right?
Yeah, I do like it. I do like it.
I stumbled across a very interesting NCAA tournament stat, and I do think it involves one of the games you just gave. I'm going to confirm that, but I'll tell you after we were at Odie's last night, I heard the question. Dunaway's is it that cold? You got to go to the hood?
Oh, well, I don't know if you know this. It's right by the lake.
Yeah, I've heard about that.
There's a strong breeze blowing, and it's chilly.
Yeah, swim across that lake naked and see how many diseases you get.
New bracket punishment.
Yes, that would be a punishment for sure, Tyler.
You'd probably have less fallout if you went to the local cat house and spent 24 hours. Hey, so here was the question last night, Dunaway.
Wait, say it again, what?
Here was the question last night from Odie's. Which came first, Theo Vaughn or DNA fingerprinting?
Can I ask you real quick, Dunaway, how old do you think Theo Vaughn was yesterday?
Theo Vaughn yesterday, let's see, Taylor is in her early to mid-20s.
Loves him.
She loves him. So I think
most girls like older guys, Dunaway.
That's what I was about to say. So I'm going to go 48.
I'm stunned he was that close.
Yeah, you are a lot closer than people think. So you want to go DNA fingerprinting? You got a guess there? Theo Vaughn, 1980.
40.
Theo Vaughn was born 1980, so he's 45 years old.
Okay, so 45, and then DNA. I mean, we had DNA fingerprinting. That was the key here. We had some DNA technology before then, but fingerprinting. I'm going to say that was I'm going to say that happened while I was in high school. I'm going to say 1982.
Very close, 1984. So Theo Vaughn actually came before DNA fingerprinting. I still remember in second grade getting fingerprinted for the first time.
Yeah.
Wasn't the last time, it was the first time. But you remember they wanted it in the system because, for kids that were getting kidnapping.
Yeah, we talked about that with Clay. Like every kid our age feared getting kidnapped.
When you wanted to get your fingerprints taken.
Yeah, partially because they would drag us down to the school office and fingerprint us just in case we got kidnapped. I'm like, well, I hadn't even thought about it until you fingerprinted me. Now I'm going to worry about getting kidnapped as a little kid.
Odie's Tavern, great place to go. We were there last night for Odie's Team Trivia. We do that every Wednesday night. Of course, live music every Friday and Saturday night. Fantastic food every single day from Rodney Davis. 2 locations. Again, the one we were at, original location in Crestline, newest location in Edgewood. Ice cold beer buckets for all of the tournament action. Get in and see Will Laver and that great staff. It's Odie's Tavern.
All right, so point spreads from today's games. You guys jump in anytime you see something that interests you. Jim talked about Creighton and Louisville. Louisville is a 3-point favorite. They're at Rupp Arena, Little T. Headed over there for that game in Lexington. Purdue, an 8-point favorite over High Point. It is the only reasonable, quote-unquote, upset in the early window. If you're a believer like me that you almost always get one of those early window upsets, High Point is your pick, right?
Well, I gave out 7 plays today, Dunaway, and 5 are favorites and 2 are underdogs, and I wanted to play Purdue. I think Purdue is the right way on this game. I stayed away because I kept hearing the Brown Bandit in the back of my head. Because I do think this High Point team's got something for Purdue, just not blown away by the Boilermakers. But if I played this game, I would lay it with Purdue. I've definitely got Purdue beating High Point. Any of you guys have High Point winning in the first round?
I do.
I do not.
Yeah,
Brown does.
I went ahead High Point. Wisconsin, a 16.5-point favorite over Montana. Houston, a 28.5 point favorite over SIU Edwardsville. Auburn up to a 32.5 point favorite over Alabama State. That line has continued to climb, Dunaway.
Yeah, it's impossible to play that though, right? Because you don't know how giving Bruce Pearl's going to be, how nice he's going to be to the school just down the street, 45 minutes from their campus. And
ain't much you can do if you're up 40 at halftime.
Yeah.
I did give this game out.
Oh boy.
Okay, all right. I see what you're saying.
Clemson.
It's just so hard for me to think that at some point, I mean, Bruce wants to make a point, but at some point, when did he? I don't know. You're right. I mean, it could be up 40 at the half.
I mean, I don't know
Auburn
what
is
your
so much
mentality,
better.
and I see what you're saying. You do want to be somewhat sympathetic. This team, they're living maybe their best moment in their basketball lives, and the last thing you want to do is, run it up and, doing 360s up, 41. But at the same time, if you're Bruce, we've lost 3 or 4. We got to get our edge back. Our slate is we're 0-0 right now. We win 6 consecutive games. We do something that has never been done. We need to immediately set the tone for this team in this tournament.
Clemson, 7.5 point favorite over McNeese. A fascinating game at 3:05. This is probably my favorite game of the day, honestly. BYU -2 over VCU. What an entertaining game.
That probably is the game of the day, BYU VCU.
I can't wait for that one. Gonzaga.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Jim.
And there are a lot of people who like VCU. But I loved BYU until everybody started liking VCU, and now I'm nervous about this game. So I did a lot of. This is probably my most thought out bracket I've ever done.
Get ready for that spring, Ted.
I had hours and hours and hours to do nothing but sit there and look at it and read about it. So
I was a little concerned until you said that.
I don't like where I went with that game, Lance. I apologize. I don't like where I went with that game. I'm on VCU, and I've talked about BYU forever.
Gonzaga, 6.5 point favorite over Georgia. Jim played that one. Tennessee, 18.5 over Wofford. Kansas, a 5 point favorite tonight over Arkansas. Texas A&M, a 7.5 point favorite over Yale. One Jim mentioned Missouri, a 6 point favorite over Drake. UCLA, I'm going to come back to this one. UCLA, a 5.5 point favorite over Utah State. St. John's, the Red Storm in action late tonight, 19 point favorite over Omaha. Michigan, you played that one, a 2.5 point favorite over UC San Diego. That's a 5-12. They're a 2.5 point favorite. And Texas Tech, a 14.5 point favorite over UNC Wilmington. You can play all those games right now at mybookie.ag. Also jump in the mybookie.ag bracket contest. You can do that at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com under the contest section, or it's right there on the front page. But at mybookie.ag, you can bet anything, anytime, anywhere. You make your initial deposit, you get a 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000 plus a $10 casino chip. All of that when you use code NEXTROUND at mybookie.ag. Mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND for that 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000 and a $10 casino chip.
We talk about the 1 seeds have lost twice in this tournament, Dunaway. And I led the show off talking about some of the monumental buzzer beaters and just some of the craziness we see. I remember the first massive upset. I think it was Richmond over Syracuse as a 2-15.
Yep.
Do you guys know how many times 15s have beaten 2s?
I thought it was only 4, Jim. I'm not sure. You're about to go watch
4
one
was
tomorrow.
what I was going to guess 4.
Well, I don't know. So maybe this is what. So I've got 15s at 16 and 156 overall, but that might be with the other games they've won.
That's got to be them advancing.
Yeah, because there's no way that every other year a 15 is beaten a 2.
Yeah, I think there's only 4 15-2 upsets, if I'm not wrong.
Well, I know Santa Clara and Arizona, Richmond and Syracuse, Duke and Lehigh.
All right, here I've got it. History of the 15 versus 2. Okay.
It's more than 4.
We're a little low. It is more than 4. I thought it was only 4. This is from.
Did that Loyola, Baltimore, or whatever, Baltimore,
that was
Maryland?
16-1.
Was that one?
Yeah, it was 16-1. So there have been 11 15 seeds have upset a 2.
Okay, just for quick math, that's almost every 3 years you have a 15 beat a 2.
But it did not happen until 1991. Richmond-Syracuse was the first one, as you mentioned.
So if you pull those first 6 years out, it really is every 3 years.
The most recent one was Princeton over Arizona a couple of years ago when Princeton ended up in Louisville with Alabama. Now they were playing Creighton and Alabama was playing San Diego State. But 59-55 was the last one back in 2023. St. Peter's over Kentucky. You all remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
85-79 back in 2022.
Do we have a 15-2 out there
this year?
Yeah.
Well, I hope not.
Yeah.
I'm here at a 15.
Hey, that's the only reason you went.
Quick trip back to the airport, if so, Jim.
I don't think there is one.
Omaha, St. John's, Wofford, Tennessee, Bryant, Michigan State, Robert Morris, Alabama. I mean, I know you never see them coming, but boy, it is hard to see any of those
it would
coming.
just be devastating. Like Rick Barnes, we talk about maybe this is his last go-around. Tom Izzo doesn't have much longer. This has been an incredible story. I think your coach of the year is Rick Pitino out of the Big East, winning that conference championship for the first time outright since 90. Can you imagine if they went down to Omaha? And then obviously Alabama, you heard Nate Oats say, hey, it's Final Four bust.
All right, here's my stat, and then Dunaway, you're going to go in for shoot-around.
Yeah, all right.
A
lot of Alabama people making their way in. Did you see the wind blow the iPad off, and I caught it before it crashed to the streets of Cleveland here?
I did not. We'll go back and look at the replay. Let's go look. We'll go look at the replay later.
Review it.
I
mean, it blew, and I caught it as it was getting ready to crash to the ground.
I don't know if this is the last 15 10 versus 7s or just 15 total. I think it's 15 total. 10-7 matchups where the 10 has had the better record than the 7. Okay, you follow me so far?
Yeah. Because this is the second most prevalent upset in the first round.
Oh, did you catch that one?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The wind has picked up tremendously.
It's almost like you're in Cleveland.
The 11 over the 6 is the most prevalent.
The 10-7s, that's the 10-7 update, the 10-7 upset. When the 10 has the better record than the 7, we've seen 15 of those. What do you think the 10 with a better record, what do you think their record is in those 15 games? So the 10's got the better record than the 7. 12-3. What would you say, Dunaway?
9-6.
9-6. Either one of those makes sense. The actual answer is 1-14, straight up. Isn't that strange?
So that means New Mexico.
They don't play the same competition, probably. Right?
There's 2 in this tournament, Lance. New Mexico's 26-7.
Utah State.
Marquette is 23-10. Utah State is 26-7. UCLA is 22-10. That is crazy to think about. The 10 with the better record is 1-14 against the 7 with the worst record.
I will go on and tell you, I don't care what happens in either one of those games.
I really don't either. Generally, you got them both going out.
I have Utah State.
I know you do.
Utah State.
I know you do. All right, so Dunaway is up in Cleveland. Little T is in Lexington. Our coverage from the road brought to you by Culver's, our friends at Culver's. Their deluxe fresh, not frozen ground beef on a butter bun with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and American cheese cooked to order. And create your own concrete mixers. Choose from the many toppings at Culver's. They add the custard. They blend it together.
Live on the air right now.
It
I
is
apologize.
fantastic.
right
Culver's,
there.
welcome to Delicious. All right, Jim, you can you go back inside. You'll shoot some practice stuff. We'll see you at Next Round Live.
All right. Hey, by the way, over here at Progressive, I don't know if it's not moving. Hold on.
It was.
There we go.
Yeah.
Over here at Progressive, they're testing the lights for a home run. I don't know if they've just turned them back on, but they were running through that. So Progressive's right there, Rockets here, and then downtown's that way. I don't know what else. I don't know where. I haven't seen the football stadium yet.
You think some dude was in the middle of like fireball shots? He's like, man, I have got to get up. We're testing the home run lights tomorrow. Like, dude, I have got to be at the park at 9.
There is that guy in center field banging that drum, though. He is relentless. From
Too
Major
high.
League. I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you.
Okay, man.
All right,
Have fun.
bye, Jim.
See ya.
We'll see you. Have fun.
See ya.
Dunaway's coverage presented by Culver's. So is Little T's in Lexington. You'll see Jim and Little T, all their coverage today at Next Round Live. We actually may get some of Dunaway's turnaround for the show because Coach Nate Oats meets the media pretty soon.
Yeah, can we, when are we going to do our Final Four, and when are we going to come up with this bracket challenge?
Well, I have not seen anything in the chat room. If you want to, that is better than the spray tan, and the chat room seemed to love the spray tan idea.
I mean, I think it's good. I don't think it's great. I think it will be really funny for whoever has to do it.
I mean, as long as we've got the bracket locked in, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't necessarily have to decide today, right? As long as our bracket's locked in.
I think we need to lock it in this
Okay,
week.
Tyler says we need to decide today.
Well, I'm out tomorrow, and then
Lance is out
I will
tomorrow.
not be back until April. So.
Yeah, Lance is going for the rest of the month.
Yeah,
after
and
today.
I am scared about my travel day today because my travel day without delays,
It's
and
long.
I don't want to get into it, is 20
long.
hours. 20 hours, Tyler.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Oh, yeah.
My trip is next week, early next week, so I'm only in 2 days next week before I go out of town.
Yeah, so we probably do need to figure this out in the next couple of hours. I mean, I don't have a problem with the spray tan. I actually think if this one team loses, I am going to lose this bracket. I cannot believe I have banked this kind of potential embarrassment, losing my third bracket challenge on this one team.
Josh says wear turtlenecks every day for a month.
I think I'd rather spray tan.
Okay.
I know I would.
I like the spray tan the best, but Morgan in the chat has a suggestion, another long-distance delivery, and Reed and I were talking about maybe we should bring that back for second place again, but this time have second place pack the orders.
Pack the orders.
Yeah, but did we get it? I don't even remember the delivery last year. Did you do it or Dunaway?
I did it. It was Warner Robins, Georgia. Not Warner Robins. It was south of there, I think. It was in the middle of nowhere, Georgia.
Yeah, packing the orders was a Reed's idea because we had to pack about 30 a day.
Well, that's good. I'm glad we did that.
It was good.
Yeah.
We got a lot of sales in, but I would prefer the loser of the bracket challenge have to
Thank
pack
you for
those
your service. Yeah. I don't know. Well, we'll do it at the end of the show. So you guys just keep...
Where are we on the 24 hours at the Welcome Center? I mean, a little dangerous, a little sketchy, but I think the content would be great.
I think it needs to be, I think we need to workshop it a little bit. Mm-hmm. I don't hate the idea. I think we need to workshop it a little bit. I mean, I don't know. I like the idea of the content we could get from there as us welcoming people to the state of Alabama. I think there's some good content.
Well, I think
you just have to flesh it out. I think it's got good bones.
I think the way to do it is you guys, the loser of you, would have to go with the loser of us, and it would be the combination for the 24. Yeah,
I think that's fair.
I think that's fair.
Do y'all all have a bracket in?
No, I haven't made one. Scott, have you made one?
Yep, mine's in.
Yeah, we're doing the mybookie.ag, so you got to go do it, at Next Round Live in the mybookie.ag challenge.
Scott, can you agree to that if we were to do that?
I mean, we got to have somebody document it, Scott.
Yeah,
we do.
And I will tell you, I don't feel great if somebody was to go by themselves.
Yeah, and the reason it's bad for E.G. and Taylor to have to document it because they have no say-so in this. They don't have a bracket in. So
and it's also an Alabama Welcome Center.
Yeah, and it's an Alabama Welcome
Center. If one of us went missing
females
off the face of the earth forever, now as my old radio partner Ian would say, good for the show? I mean, because we probably would get like a Netflix documentary if one of us went disappeared and never showed back up again.
Yeah.
Or at the very least, like a prime original. They had the nurse who saw the baby on the highway.
Well, that's true. And Tubi, we talked about the great titles. They've got the P. Diddy Downfall, and I forgot how they titled it, but they're pretty good.
Colton says, what if the loser followed and covered the Stallions all season? You got to go to every game. You got to go to every practice. You got to go to every
press conference. We are on a what we'll call a budget. I mean, how much would that cost?
That's going to be a little steep right there. A lot of road games. Well, 4 road games. What is the 999 challenge at the Braves game? Does anybody know that?
So you go to a baseball games. You've got 9 innings, and in those 9 innings, you have to drink 9 beers and eat 9 hot dogs.
I'm down for that.
Does it have to be a Braves game?
I just don't think I could get the 9 beers, no joke. But can you sub one for the other?
Like I can go 10 hot dogs, 8 beers?
Or can I just do 18 beers?
It's 999. Got to eat the 9 hot dogs.
18 beers. Then we drag Lance out of there.
Yeah, that is a pretty unique one. The Waffle House challenge has been done so many times.
Much, yeah, people are giving us the 24-hour Buc-ee's challenge.
No, what is that?
You just stay in a Buc-ee's for 24 hours.
Are they open 24 hours?
Yep. Buc-ee's open 24 hours.
I think for every beer you drink in Buc-ee's, you get an hour knocked off if they don't throw you out. What if you get arrested, it's completely cleaned.
What if you get thrown out, though? I mean, do I lose it if I get thrown out? Because
or
then all I
got
to
do another Buc-ee's.
Well, that's impossible because Buc-ee's are
so far apart.
Yeah, I think that they're not like Chick-fil-A's. I mean,
there's not one on every
I'd
corner.
be all about that. But I mean, the Buc-ee's are literally like 3 or 4 hours apart.
I mean, for us, the
got a
leads
substitute of Love's.
Love's truck stop. I mean, the Buc-ee's 24-hour challenge isn't awful.
I mean, I would be willing to, if we wanted to set these aside and we could do different ones, like Dunaway could do the 999. You could do the Buc-ee's. I could do a bar challenge where I got to be in a bar for 24 hours, and for every, drink you have, you get an hour knocked off.
I still say,
I could do the golf challenge where I got to play golf all day.
What about if you got to hit the hole in one? You got to sit there until. And I'm not talking about on a simulator. I'm talking about like out on a course.
That would be tough.
I still like Brown having to go to movies with Tyler.
That's true. Plus, at the.
I think Dunaway going with Tyler would be more. Brown would hate the movie more. As long as you see some titty shots, Dunaway be all about it.
No. If Tyler's going to see anime, Brown having to tag along for anime movies would be amazing.
But I think there's a sneaky feud between Tyler and Dunaway. So I think it would be interesting them hanging out for hours upon hours.
Now next month there are a few anime releases, so I would drag you to those.
What if Brown fell in love with anime?
I never knew I liked anime. Tyler, thank you.
Well, then, that's a win.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Jay says loser has to apply for a job at WJOX and go through an interview. That'd be funny. We know everybody out there, though. They know what we're doing.
Landmine Believer says for the 999 challenge, we should switch it to a Barons game. I think that makes more sense.
Easy to get to.
Based on budget. Well, I mean,
like where your head is, Jeeves.
They said the price of beer is expensive at the Braves Stadium.
I bet it is.
Damn, you go Thursday night here at Regions and take a $20 bill.
Oh, I think somebody said something about Thirsty Thursday, so I guess
that's what I was
they're
talking about.
Yeah. All right, we'll keep fleshing this out. We'll just decide by the end of the show. We've got some suggestions, so we'll pick one at the end of the show. Dr. B, bringing you to the show. You got that haircut yesterday. Looking good.
I did get the haircut yesterday. Went to see our man Roney. Me and young Jack both got buzzed up for spring break coming up. Dr. B, best in the business for more than 20 years. Women and men have turned to Dr. B for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. T3hair.net for more information. 205-319-0316. T3 has that new test. It is so easy, painless, affordable, takes 4 seconds to perform. It will show you which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents for you in pill or topical form. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316. Book the consultation today. Tell them the next round sent you. For more information, T3hair.net.
All right, we hear from Nate Oats and Bruce Pearl ahead of their games today for Pearl, tomorrow for Oats. Next on the next round.
Follow LT on Twitter at @TheLanceTaylor.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers. Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Looking for a great place for that boring meeting? Leave the office and go to the Golfus. What about corporate events like board meetings, sales meetings, customer appreciation events? How about the Golfus? Watch parties for football and basketball, parties for birthdays or couple showers. The Golfus is a great place for those. The Golfus has Birmingham's best golf simulators and man caves in Vestavia on Highway 31, opening soon in Trussville and on Highway 280. Bring whatever you want to eat or drink, even bring your own clubs. Get out of the office. Go to the Golfus. Book your spot now at thegolfus.com.
You could win a Cadillac CT5 or your share of $25,000 in free play and cash at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. The more you visit, the more chances you have to win. Play the latest, most exciting games around with fun bonuses and big jackpots. You can be a winner too. Come win your share during the Cadillac CT5 and $25,000 giveaway at Birmingham Racecourse Casino. Drawings April 5th and 6th. Located off I-459, exit 31, Derby Parkway. Must be 21 or older. Must be present to win.
Remember the name Way to Wellness if you're battling weight loss in your life. I'm Jim Dunaway from the next round. There was a time I was over 216 pounds until Way to Wellness helped me lose 45 pounds, and now for over 2 years, they've helped me keep that weight off. Here's their website, aplanforme.com, aplanforme.com. That's a great name for a website because there's no cookie cutter plan. Everything is designed specifically for you. No contract, no sign-up fees, and your first consultation is free at Way to Wellness.
Hey, let me tell you about our friends at Urology Centers of Alabama. Compassionate and comprehensive urological care with 35 physicians, 17 locations across Alabama. Their patient-centered approach to all of your urological needs. Remember, they've got that new men's health center. It is beautiful, helping men with a wide range of sensitive
male issues in a comfortable environment, you can always go online, visit urology centers, alabama.com, schedule an appointment with one of their many urologists today.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
We continue on the next round. Kelly says primitive camping at Oak Mountain, overnight tent, sleeping bag. We could say 24 hours, and you have to do a video vlog of it. We could agree on how many videos you have to post, or you have to send a tailor to post, or whatever. Primitive camping. We could put some challenges in there too, like you've got to build your own fire.
You gotta. Well, what was the one challenge that keeps getting brought up? Cook a possum.
Cook a possum. Well, let's don't
I
go
know that one.
one.
You know, the problem with the just much like the other. I mean, we're going to have a partner in crime there.
Yeah.
You can't do it solo.
Yeah.
So I mean, Forrester's undecided whether or not he's going to accept it.
Yeah, well, his kids have him all over the world playing softball.
But this might be a nice break for him to get a day
true,
away
Scott.
from all the responsibility of life. I would think Melton would be in. Is Melton here?
Now, if you do it
not
after
yet.
August, one of them's moving out then. So
yeah.
You could carve one day.
you think? You don't know.
I don't mind that idea.
But I mean, we've got to have them agree.
Who, Oak Mountain or the back room?
Back room.
Yeah.
I mean, either if we do the Welcome Center or Oak Mountain, we've got to have a +1.
I mean, somebody does have to film it.
It's true.
And there could be some awkward conversation. Like, I could sit there and talk to any of you guys. I doubt I'm going to sleep much. I'm more of a creature comforts type. I like the central heating and air and a comfortable bed.
I don't know. Any of you guys camp?
No, I've never been camping.
Yeah, we're going to have a problem pitching that tent.
Depends on who wins the game. I don't know. You got to go buy the equipment, too. We could get that sponsored. We could probably get that sponsored.
Yeah,
we could figure that out. All right, let's workshop that one. Let's keep that one.
My issue with the +1 is it might not be dependent on who loses the backroom bracket. It might be dependent on who has the least amount of family responsibilities.
Well, we'll work around schedules.
I don't have a wife and kids
I
like the other two.
Yeah. You don't say. You go to 7 movies a week. I do think it would be like the worst from the back, the worst from ours. So it's no combination, right?
No. You mean like we're
not going to go on a team up?
No. It's the two worst ones have to do it. Okay, we've got that. We've got Welcome Center. We've got Spray Tan.
Should we make it one of those three?
Let's see. Let's
unless something else crazy pops up.
If something else crazy is in the chat room, we'll see what happens. Smuff says, Lance, if you have trouble pitching the tent, urology centers of Alabama can
That's very true, yes.
All right, Hemp Hill Services brings you the lock every day. Lance, we'll have a lock up right now. Who we got? Who's the free play today?
The free play up and available right now. Well, we've got 7, so I will tell you this. We had
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
But I'm letting the entire cat out of the bag when I tell you this. Clemson is the free play. -7.5 against McNeese State.
I nailed that, didn't I?
I do like Clemson a lot. We will get into the Clemson Tigers in a little bit. 7 plays up. We did have Xavier last night. Incredible comeback down 13. They win the game. Win the game by 6. Rodney Terry is out. Xavier goes off in the second half, scoring 47 points. But jump on board. 7 plays up and available right now, all in the NCAA tournament today. Lance'sLock.com. $75 will get you the entire month of March Madness through that final national championship Monday. Always brought to you by our friends at Hemp Hill Services. Trust the name Birmingham has trusted for all of your plumbing, heating, and cooling issues since 1954. If any of these arise in your home or business, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090 or hemphillservices.com.
Iron Mike says Brown should visit Aliceville if he loses. Like, I could do my part of the show from Aliceville.
I can get you in Aliceville.
That's a very specific.
I don't, just going one time, I don't think it's enough.
Oh, really? You think I ought to spend hard time there?
I mean, I'll sign up. I'll go to Aliceville and I'll bring posters of Ryan Brown and T-shirts and stuff and talk to him about what you're like and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying, I think that would be easy.
Is there a chance that story was oversold to us?
Yes.
Okay, I mean, don't answer that so quickly. It's not as if I'm unappealing to
I'm not saying that.
Female inmates.
I find it hard to believe a bunch of chicks from Aliceville watch us, and then they...
No. It was, to be fair, it was the Zone on 3340 that they watched.
Okay, well, then maybe it is different. Maybe it is.
Yeah, it was the Zone on 3340. For those that don't know the story, there was a prison guard at Aliceville that visited our studio one day, fan of the show.
Yep.
Visited the studio, and we asked him what he did, and he says, well, I'm a prison guard at Aliceville. And then after a few minutes, he goes, I got to tell y'all what's funny is Brown is actually very popular there because they watch the show, they watch the Zone every Sunday night. Like in prison, you know, it's all about routine. And they all watch the Zone on 3340 every Sunday night. And I'm just saying this. He said it. I'm not trying to brag. But he said it, Tyler. He said they call him the pretty boy that talks sports.
Yeah, I don't.
A very low bar at Aliceville.
Yeah, I'm not thinking you're bragging. It's
right.
not a massive flex.
Nope.
But it does make more sense that it would be ABC 3340's The Zone. Like, if they were all hovering around, if they're like, next round time.
Yeah, that's right. Turn it on, guys or ladies. No, it's every Sunday night, The Zone. Yeah, he told us that story and swears that it's true. So that's been the history of the long-running Aliceville joke.
So when they're shagging it out with a guard, they're thinking of Brown?
I don't know if they are. I don't know.
Oh, chat says you should go and wear short shorts on your visit.
They tell that guard, hey, wear that mask like Brown Bandit.
Tell me you don't need the points. Tell me you don't need the points. All right, I'm going to write Aliceville down. That's very specific to me, though. I don't know that it works for anybody else.
Jace has a funny idea. Loser of the back room has to play 9 holes of golf with the loser of the front room caddying. Think about how mad Dunaway will get watching Tyler play golf.
That's not bad.
Yeah,
that's not bad.
That is pretty good.
Specific to you, what about me going to see the judge, Ian's father, and sitting down and talking to him? When you do die, I had you dying 3 years ago. It's going to be sooner than later. Are we going to cremate you? Where are we going to bury you?
You got to do an introspective interview with the judge. So tell me about your life.
You can walk him through the whole process, and
now that would be somewhat. I don't know how. I'm sure the judge is entertaining. Corrupt judge out of Louisiana.
Give me cut 2, Tyler. Auburn is about to play Alabama State now. Clean read here. They ain't losing to Alabama State.
No, I agree with you. Are we willing? You and I will just will disappear until 2026.
Yeah, you won't see me for the rest of the year if Auburn loses to Alabama State. But that next round, that's a round Auburn has had trouble with. Getting past the round of 32 under Bruce Pearl has been difficult for Auburn to do.
I mean, we've only seen it in 2018 when they made the Final Four run, which is pretty incredible. I mean, if you would have said that team last year wasn't going to make it out of the first weekend, people would have laughed. This team, even better. Find it hard to believe. I did a prop yesterday. Tell me how you feel about this. Over 2.5 1 seeds to reach the Elite 8 minus 120. I think we could have the first all-one Final Four since 2008. It's the only time we've ever had it.
You and Jay Billis agree. Jay Billis picked the same
Now,
thing.
I ended up not doing it because of a team that we're talking about that's going to end up getting me beat on this bracket challenge. But I could see all 4 ones make a run here, and I think all four ones will be in the regional final. Would you agree with that? I've got 3 now, but
yeah, I've got all 4 ones. I have got Duke, Houston, Florida, Auburn advancing to the regional final. I don't have them all in the Final Four.
And my point that I was making when I was doing this prop yesterday, because I was talking about it on air, is I think Auburn, over their next 2 games, will be at least 7-point favorites over Louisville or Creighton, and the same with Michigan, A&M, San Diego, or Yale.
Look, they're not going to get bounced in the first round, but here's Bruce Pearl talking about how to avoid an early exit. What did they learn from last year, getting bounced in the first round, that could help them not have an early exit this year?
We talked about our exit from the tournament last year in the 4-13 game against Yale. We talked about it this morning. Yale outplayed us. We shot 50% in the game. Typically, that's going to be good enough to win. We fouled them too much. We turned the ball over late, crucial moments, and we didn't make free throws at the end. And as a result, we lost the game. Anybody can have that one shining moment. We recognized, again, Alabama State outplayed us by 1 in the second half last year in Auburn, Alabama. So we recognize that we'll have to play well.
Again, they're not losing in the first round. There has been a lot of focus on, and I think, I don't think we just said it. We're unanimous. We think Creighton wins this early game. But there's been a lot of focus on what if Louisville is that team. You're playing at Rupp Arena, just, miles from the Louisville campus. It's going to be full of Louisville fans, Tennessee fans, and Auburn fans if that happens. And that's going to be a lot of Louisville fans, and they're probably going to get teamwork from the Tennessee fans if Auburn starts to fall behind. It's going to become a hostile environment, and Louisville is a top 10 team. Now, I think they're overrated by the Associated Press in the top 10, but the fact is they're a top 10 team. This is not your average 8 seed.
So this is fascinating to me. I know it doesn't really matter in bowls. I do think it matters once you get to the NCAA tournament in basketball, though, what your conferences really do once we get to March. North Carolina, it was a play-in game. They looked outstanding against San Diego State.
Yeah.
Texas had a complete meltdown against Xavier. So, moving forward, how good is this ACC? Is it really terrible and you've got 2 pretty good teams and 1 really good team? Duke being the really good, the pretty goods being Clemson and Louisville, and then you got a bunch of bad teams? Or is it kind of above average? They just didn't look great because of the way it kind of folded out in the ACC conference.
And we really won't know that until we get to the Final Four, because you got it. Well, we might know it. If they get wiped out, everybody but Duke in this first weekend, you're going to know your answer, right? If Duke's the last one standing, if your Clemson Tigers are gone, if Louisville's gone.
But if
Carolina's gone.
If you've got as many or more ACC teams in the Final Four, which would be shocking, than the SEC.
Yeah, it would be shocking, but it would also tell you a lot about that. All right, we'll hear what Bruce Pearl says about his team coming into this tournament. They have lost 3 of their last 4, and people have started talking about a lack of confidence. But I want to remind you, our friend Alexander Shinora and the Shinora Trial Attorneys. They are a national firm with Southern roots, headquartered in Birmingham. With 24 years, the firm has grown to more than 150 attorneys, supported by more than 500 dedicated team members. They have recovered more than $2 billion, maintaining Alexander's core values of integrity, mastery, passion, and success. If you find yourself in need of a lawyer, call the Alexander Shinora Trial Attorneys. You pay nothing unless they win your case. You can also go to nextroundlive.com and participate in the Shinora Showdown. Every game day during the NCAA tournament, we will have a game up against the point spread, and you will just pick a winner against the point spread. If you get it right, you're in the drawing. Lance, when we draw, we're drawing for cold, hard cash cards.
Yeah, it is $1,000 to first place. It is $500 to second. It is $250 to third. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think our game tonight is Arkansas and Kansas.
You are correct. Kansas minus 4.5 is where we're going to play that. We lock the lines in early on, and we don't adjust so that everybody's got a fair shot at it. We're playing at Kansas minus 4.5 in the Shinora Showdown at nextroundlive.com, nextroundlive.com. If you're watching us right now, Scott's got up a QR code, and you can click it and go right to that, the Shinora Showdown at nextroundlive.com. And we'll also have it out on social media for you. So Auburn lost to Texas A&M in College Station, lost to Alabama and Auburn. Shocking some. A lot of people didn't think that team could lose back-to-back games this year. They win a game in Nashville and then turn around and lose to Tennessee. That's 3 out of 4, even though they're the number 1 overall seed. People are asking Bruce Pearl, is your confidence shaken by the way you've played coming into this tournament?
Since we left Lexington 3 weeks ago, where we won the regular season championship, we've lost 3 out of our last 4 games. At Texas A&M, who's a 4 seed. Alabama at home at the buzzer, who's a 2 seed. And then to Tennessee in the SEC tournament in Nashville, in pretty much close to a last possession type game. So I think when you're playing teams of that caliber, you got to make shots, you got to make free throws, you got to make layups, you got to do simple plays. We didn't do some of those things in those losses. I don't think it affects our confidence. I think that we're prepared, but that stuff, even if we'd won all those games, it doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean anything tomorrow at 250. This team's prepared. This team is confident.
It is awful weird hearing the coach of the overall number 1 seed having to answer questions about confidence.
Well,
I mean, you just don't normally see this.
You don't. They have lost 3 of 4, but when you look at the 3 losses, you're like,
that's a really good. They won't face a team that good, Lance, probably until the Elite Eight.
Yeah, probably not. But once you get to that point, you're going to be playing games like that. Really, once you get to the Sweet 16, it's going to be a gauntlet of games like that. So, I mean, there is something that seems to be a little off with this Auburn team that maybe wasn't there 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, in Auburn's bracket, give me the teams. Well, Texas A&M is in there, so they're 1.
Yeah. And by the way, a lot of people think Yale's going to win that game. I think A&M is going to wear out Yale on the boards.
Well, A&M's one of the best rebounding teams in the country. So teams as good as...
Yale realistically cannot beat Auburn again. I mean, they can't. That would put Yale in the Elite Eight.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yeah.
It was just a bold statement there for a team that beat Auburn last year.
I just don't see it. I mean, the teams that would scare me out of that pod at the top.
But let me just, real quick, let me just ask you before you do that. The teams in that bracket that are as good as Texas A&M, Tennessee, and Alabama. A&M is in that bracket. Michigan State is in that neighborhood, right?
Yep.
Iowa State is?
Keyshawn Gilbert being out does hurt them. 6 and 7 down the stretch. I don't know, man. Iowa State early on was really, really good. I think they could turn it up with guard play, but I'm
my
not
point
sure.
is Michigan State's really the only team in that bracket that reaches that level, and A&M who's already in that bracket.
Well, I do think Michigan's playing a lot better, and I think Michigan is going to give anybody problems with 2 7-footers.
Rebounding has been something that has hurt Auburn.
Yeah.
Teams that rebound well. So the teams in that little pod that worry you if you're Auburn are?
Creighton, just because of Kalkbrenner and the fact they can get hot behind the arc.
I saw Lemine Believer say Creighton's a bad matchup for Auburn because Kalkbrenner can guard Broom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that is interesting.
Yeah, Kalkbrenner's athletic, and he's long, man. I mean, he's 7'1" with the wingspan, I don't know, probably 7'5", but he can move. He's got good feet. So Creighton's hitting their threes. I would be more concerned about Creighton than Louisville, just my opinion. The Louisville crowd is a different factor. And I will say, on the way home from Odie's last night, when Xavier was making their comeback, and I got to watch the final 5 minutes, the place was nuts.
It was like they were playing in Cincinnati.
Yeah, so there is something with crowd. And look, it's not just Louisville. I think everybody will turn on the 1 seed, whether it's Creighton or Louisville.
Well, that is one of the things, one of the fun things about being in an NCAA tournament is when a favorite starts to lose, the entire arena turns against the favorite, and all of a sudden you feel like you're playing a road game.
I'll give you an order. 1 on high alert would be Texas A&M.
Right. You've already seen that, and you know the history there.
Then I would probably go Michigan. Then I would probably go Michigan State, and then I would go Iowa State. And then Creighton would be number 5.
Michigan State, I think, is a concern for Auburn because they're rebounding.
Yeah.
I mean, they are one of the, I think it's top 10 rebounding teams in the entire country.
Do you want me to make you feel old?
It's hard to make me feel much older than I feel.
Do you know who the best player on their team is?
Michigan State's?
Yep.
They'll tell me it's Mateen Cleave's kid or something like that.
It's very close. Jason Richardson's
Jason
kid.
Richardson.
Yeah, Jace Richardson. So you think about the last time they won a national championship, the only time Tom Izzo's won one was 25 years ago, and it was with the Flintstones, with Mateen and Jason Richardson. But Jason Richardson's kid, Jace, if Michigan State is going to make a deep run, it's going to be because of his kid. And, I remember that Final Four. And that was back when I was into Carolina basketball big. And I remember we had a big party, and we had the Jell-O shots in Carolina colors. Carolina lost in the Final Four.
Yeah.
But that was the Teddy Dupay ended up Florida team that played Michigan State.
Yeah.
But, man, time goes quick. But that is how old we are getting as Jace Richardson is the guy right now for Michigan State.
That does make me feel old. Yeah. I do not disagree with that. All right, we got 2 more hours NCAA tournament talk to go, leading you up to the tip of the tournament. Little T will join us a little bit later on from Lexington. Dunaway is in Cleveland. Our coverage there at both places presented by Culver's. Welcome to Delicious, and keep firing off the bracket challenge punishments.
I've got one here.
Okay, I'm keeping up with them. Lance will give us a new one coming back from the break.
Okay.
There was a new one in the chat that I thought was pretty creative, so we'll hit some of those.
This one's really creative.
Okay, good. I like creative.
I don't think any of us want to do it, though.
I told Tyler this morning, I like creative, right, Tyler? Tyler was doing something creative.
You did tell me that this morning.
We like creative. Doesn't mean every creative idea lives, but we like creative. We'll discuss that when we return on the next round.
Follow Brownie on Twitter and Instagram at Ryan Brown Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone, the New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
By now, you guys know how I feel about my fashion. However, did you know that I care about your fashion choices? Cargo shorts are out, flip-flops are only appropriate on the boat, and please throw away that stained t-shirt from college. You may be thinking, EG, that's all I own. What do I do? Here's what you do. Go to nextround.store and fill your cart with a wardrobe that is approved by me. Stock up on logo t-shirts, hoodies for football season, and hats for every day of the week. Trust me on this one and head over to nextround.store to get stocked up for this season.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
This hour of The Next Round is presented by the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, now featuring 7 days of giveaways with your chance to win a share of up to $125,000. The more you visit the Birmingham Racecourse Casino, the more chances you have to win.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with mybookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
The World Wide Web is a large place. Find all your favorite people and content in the same spot. NextRoundLive.com is full of wonderful tidbits about the show you know and love. Find our gear, listen to your favorite personalities, follow our socials, and enjoy your trip to NextRoundLive.com.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, The Next Round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, we go to hour number 2 of the live show. From Birmingham, he is Lance Taylor. I am Ryan Brown. Tyler is here. Scott is here. Melton will be joining us soon. EG fresh from Alabama Pro Day, where she saw Jalen Milroe run that 40. Boy, that time was all over the place.
Yeah, I got asked about that last night when I was doing a hit, and they said, what does that do? Does that maybe put Milroe in the second round?
Well, I mean,
again, I think if it's a legit 4.36, 4.37, 4.38, I think that really could excite one team and could ultimately get him in the first round.
Our guy Daniel Jeremiah, I was texting with him yesterday, and he said, and then I think he eventually tweeted this, that all his sources there that hand timed it had it at more in the 4.4 range. But the NFL sent out 4.37. Alabama sent out 4.37. So, do you think there's that big a deal between 4.4 and 4.37 for a quarterback? If we're talking wide receiver, that's one thing. But
so what did DJ say, though? Did you ask
said 4.4 was pretty much the consensus he got. Somewhere in the 4.4 world.
No, I'm talking about outside of the timing. Like, what does that do for Jalen Milroe?
I did not ask him that. No, I didn't go that deep. I just asked him, because I know DJ is so well connected in the NFL world, I just asked him, I said, do you have an official time from Milroe's 40? And he said, everybody I have talked to there, the consensus seems to be 4.4. And I said, well, it's obviously being reported as a 4.37. But again, for a quarterback, I think a 4.4 is plenty fast. So we'll see if that ever gets updated. So I'm surprised. I wonder if he might have been banged up in Indianapolis. I don't know.
Well, I think it would be if he was just to say that, like, my ankle was a little tweaked, I was getting rehab on something. Like, I don't think that would be a big deal. I just thought it was extremely strange that the way he ran yesterday is the way we expected covering him for years to run. But based on the fact that he didn't do it in Indianapolis, it just seemed really weird to me.
As Rusty says in the mybookie.ag chat room, he was faster than Isaiah Bond regardless of which time you pick, which is actually kind of strange.
Man, that is a great pull from Rusty, because Isaiah Bond was talking so much shit about how he was going to shatter Xavier Worthy's record. Not only did he not, he wasn't even the fastest on his own team. That was Matthew Golden.
Isn't that crazy? Let's go to cut 10 there, Tyler, if you will, and we'll just hear what, while we're on this, what Jalen Milroe had to say as he was talking to EG and the assembled media there in Tuscaloosa yesterday after he ran the 40, reported in some places as fast as 4.37, and then did a little throwing. Here's the Alabama quarterback headed to the NFL draft.
So, a lot of people want me to run. And I was in that process thinking if I'm going to run. And so I gave everybody what they wanted. And so my goal was getting the 4.3s, and so goal completed. And so that was first, and then secondly, be able to, show out in Pro Day.
My goal's always in the 4.3s when I run the 42.
That's a goal. Yeah, quite the expectation there.
Yeah, the old 4.3. That is a.
But this will dramatically change his draft stock. Dramatically.
I would think so. It's going to get people's attention, obviously. All right, so you got another recommendation for a challenge. Here was the one before. I want to read it before I lose it in the chat room here, because the chat room moves fast and it'll get away from me. Just worth discussing. Jeff said, combine the spray tan and the 999 thing, however you want to do it, at a Stallions game. Heavy-duty spray tan, tight shorts, wife beater, no shirt, however you want to do it. Sit in the end zone by yourself behind the goalpost, eat the dogs, drink the beers with the spray tan, do all you can to get on TV. That's combining a lot of things there.
Don't know how many people are going to see you, but
well, we can document it ourselves.
Yeah, I'm just talking about on the TV thing. I don't know how many people are watching UFL. Like out there at the stadium would be, I guess, more the embarrassing part. Okay, here is one from our buddy Morgan that dropped by yesterday. Brought the bourbon at 11 o'clock. What about 24 hours in an old haunted sanitarium? There's one in Louisville that would be awesome.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm down.
Yeah, that's the one Tyler wants to do. It's not even a punishment for him.
I'm going to lose the bracket challenge in the back room.
You don't
anyway.
know that. Women in the offices that never watch basketball pick colors of uniforms and win this thing all the time.
I'm not discounting anybody's ghost stories. I've said this before. I think there's certain people that see, spirits or whatever. I never have. I never want to. I think you are testing fate when you go to a place like that. But, it is creative.
Goose says blind draw loser has to do a remote show from Birmingham, Iowa or Birmingham, Michigan.
What about Birmingham, England?
It's gotta ramp it up just a little bit.
Man, I wish we had unlimited budgets, because what we would do right now is bring in a map of the world, and we would all go blindfold dart throw.
Oh, my gosh. Like, just a map on the wall.
The only thing we would exclude would be like Antarctica.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be...
Well, there's some other places I think we have to exclude these days. There's
For
travel bans and whatnot.
safety of staff, there are probably a few
Go
others.
straight to Ukraine. Would that be bad? I don't know. How much fun would that be, though?
Oh, it would be a blast. I mean, so what would you do? You just have to spend 48 hours or a week or whatever? But, I mean, what
I
if you
think
hit...
the way we would set it up is... Like, we've got to find, like, the worst hotel in this city.
Right.
You've got to eat this certain food from this place.
So you just pray you hit Santorini, Greece by complete luck.
Yeah. I mean, can you imagine Ibiza? You hit the island of Ibiza.
Still got to stay in the hostel, though. You don't get a nice hotel.
Have you ever stayed in a hostel?
I have not.
There's apparently, when we were walking to that bar, I guess it was a week ago tonight, remember Richard pointed out, that's actually an upscale hostel.
Yeah, in Nashville.
It was two random guys playing ping pong. And
you could see them playing ping pong in the window, and Lance commented on that, and he goes, yeah, it's an upscale hostel. I was like, upscale and hostel don't normally go in the same sentence
they really
together.
don't.
But
how common are hostels here?
I didn't think they were very common in the States.
You know where they're common is Miami.
Really?
Yep. When we were down there, I noticed a ton of hostels.
Now, the definition of a hostel is basically just shared living space, or you get your own room, you share a bathroom?
I think you share a bathroom majority of the time. It's a lot cheaper than a hotel. It's normally travelers or people that are like hiking, backpacking, things like that are going, from one destination to another. It is very European. It got the bad connotation from the Hostel movie, which I never saw. I heard it was pretty good.
If you like that sort of Saw level of violence, then Hostel's good. If you don't like that, then it's awful.
Tyler, you'll love this. I was telling Brown yesterday, we were talking about this at trivia, and I was talking to the crowd. And it not only came across my feed, it came across others. But it said, if you enjoy relaxing to true crime, you might have underlying deeper issues. Did you get it too?
Yeah, it came across my feed. There was a study that said if you like to relax to true crime podcasts or documentaries, then...
Correct me if I'm wrong, like Dahmer, the miniseries, got the fire cracking, pop a bottle of red wine.
That's what he done. Yeah. Lance was like, I like just getting a couple of glasses of wine and watching that stuff. I'm like, that is just kind of demented.
But I don't have nightmares to it. My nightmares were spawned from being a kid, so it's not like that. They say if you do have more and more nightmares, you probably need to wean your way off of the...
that's probably a good recommendation, I'd have to say.
I'm going to say you did not get this on your social media yesterday.
I didn't. I'm not a big true crime guy.
Bet Dunaway didn't?
Yep, I don't think he's a big true crime guy.
Me and Jeeves.
It's like everything is true crime now, though. Everything.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I mean, so it's obviously extremely popular.
But the study was like, if you watch it because it's exciting, then that's different than watching it late at night with a glass of wine or something and relaxing. That is more.
Yeah, Layton said she got it.
Trauma.
We were at dinner last night, and she was like, "I like true crime, but like I had to stop the Dahmer series in the middle of it. Like I couldn't move forward. There was another one that she said she stopped. So I guess some of this is too graphic for some people. Doesn't necessarily bother me. It was a lot.
I didn't watch the Dahmer one. I just wasn't interested in looking into that one.
It's dark. Very dark. You go to a bar, pick up a dude, put him in cuffs, and eat him. I mean,
yeah, it's dark, Lance. I would agree.
That's next level.
I mean, there is no other way to transition to what I got to do here. So I'm just going to talk.
How about
for a second.
this? How about this for breaking time?
You got not going to help.
You got to run out of a bar with one handcuff on, screaming, "He's trying to abduct me."
What if one of us dresses up as a cop, and the other one is running down a street in Birmingham with just one handcuff on? And we're like chasing him.
Do you think anybody helps, or they just get their phones out?
That's what I'm saying. What do you think happens?
I think people get their phones out.
I think most people just record it. I don't think anybody jumps in.
Little twist on that idea. The loser of the bracket challenge runs out with the handcuff, and everybody else in the office chases them. And you got to avoid getting caught.
What about
Most
you got
dangerous game?
You got to find a way to sleep in a different office up here for 7 nights.
Ooh,
you think you could
a different office for 7 nights?
You think you could hang here until office is closed, break into said office, post up, and get out in the morning before they get in there?
As someone who has spent many late nights here working on stuff there's nobody here late at night. You got free reign.
It's a little too quiet.
Hey, you know, when we first started,
exactly.
we had a security guard, creepy dude. Do you remember?
When we first started here?
Yeah. There was a guy in a little office.
Oh, yeah. I remember that, yeah.
Didn't last long, but we used to have somebody here 24/7.
Yeah. I remember that. I had forgotten all about that until you brought that up. All right, for lunch today, easy decision. It's tough to fill this bracket out, but easy decision for lunch is Bojangles. They have got the brand new Bo Bites. They are crispy, hand-breaded, delicious. But don't call them nuggets. That's not what they are. They are Bo Bites, and you get them right now at Bojangles. The only hard part is choosing from the 6 dipping sauces. They got a sauce for every craving, from the creamy house-made ranch to the sweet and spicy peach honey pepper sauce. It all depends on what kind of mood you're in. Head to your nearest Bojangles today and discover the dippable, shareable, and craveable Bo Bites. From Bojangles, it's Bo time at Bojangles. So tomorrow, Alabama is in a 2-15 game. I think we all agree, very little chance that they lose that one. There are a couple of games of interest for me tomorrow that I want to bring up, Lance. I am fascinated by this Ole Miss-North Carolina game. And I don't know, like, North Carolina was a team a lot of people don't feel like should be in. Ole Miss is a solid basketball team. North Carolina goes and gets that win in Dayton. Now, all of a sudden, they're a 1.5-point favorite as an 11 seed that was a controversial entry over an Ole Miss team that was a pretty solid team all year. I mean, there was never a moment where you thought this Ole Miss team was just bad. Now, they dropped a bunch of games in a row.
Yeah, and I say this a lot.
Conference.
I say it about A&M. I say it about Missouri. I say it about Ole Miss. I say it about Mississippi State. Teams really inconsistent. And I think that's probably more an indictment of just how good the conference is. Like, it is so difficult to win 3 or 4 straight in the SEC.
Right.
And that's why you've got this. But, yeah, I mean, Ole Miss is a team that is capable of going out and making a run to the next weekend.
We say this all the time in college football. Let's compare headsets. In this game, the headset comparison is all Ole Miss. I mean, you'd go all 100 check marks right there in Ole Miss if we go head coach versus head coach.
Yeah. I mean, Hubert Davis does have a Final Four appearance. I think they
Do you
are.
think he gets too much criticism?
I don't know, because, again,
Brad Beard
I use the word a lot, inconsistent, but
Yeah.
the inconsistencies year to year for that program. Now, they did get in. They have advanced in a regard, I guess. We'll see what they're able to do against Ole Miss. They are favored in this game.
That's what I'm saying. That 1.5-point favorite.
I actually like them in this game.
You like North Carolina?
Yeah. I mean, at least I do right now.
Yeah.
We'll see once we get to tomorrow.
Chris Beard's got a national championship game on his resume. One more game tomorrow I want to talk about, not necessarily the game, but something aside from the game, the Kentucky Wildcats. They play Troy, the Trojans, winners of the Sun Belt, to get in. Kentucky, an 11.5-point favorite in that game. Mark Pope, like, dislike? No feelings about Mark Pope.
I thought it was a weird hire. Obviously, he did an okay job at BYU. Look, he was, former Kentucky captain. They like their own. He, was a captain on that 1996 national championship team. I like kind of the personality, how self-deprecating a little bit at times,
Right.
and like he's done a good, solid job. They're a 3 seed. I mean, Kentucky could make a legitimate run in this tournament.
They're an 11.5-point favorite. They're playing in Milwaukee, and I think this will make
Home of Jeffrey Dahmer, by the way.
Okay. Not known for a lot more than that, but indeed. I think this will make you like him more. Mark Pope, word has leaked out. This is from Chris Beesmore, who covers Kentucky, that Mark Pope has agreed to pay gas money to any student attending the Troy, Kentucky NCAA tournament game in Milwaukee. And an email has leaked out from Megan Summers, who's the executive assistant to Mark Pope, where they're emailing a student saying, Coach Pope would love to take care of your gas money. For this to happen, we need you to send us proof that you have tickets to the game, which you have already. At that point, we can send you the flat rate gas money. Please verify that there is no one in your party that is in with the recruitable age. So they do have to jump through some hoops for this. But Megan Summers, the executive assistant to Mark Pope, sends that email right there that Scott is showing you to a student saying, if you'll just send me proof you have tickets to the game, Coach Pope will pay your gas money. I actually think it's pretty cool.
I think it's awesome. Now, what I don't want, Megan, is to get the screenshot of the same ticket over and over again.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to have to.
You probably do need to check this. This is
We're going to have to
awesome.
go honor system.
And look, hey, don't discount what Kentucky fans can do. I don't know what the allotment of tickets are available. Like, who else is in that pod?
I do not have these cities in front of me. Here's Milwaukee.
Milwaukee, we've got Kentucky, Troy, Illinois, and now Xavier. Also in Milwaukee, we have Ole Miss, North Carolina, which I think you're going to have some fans there, Iowa State, and Lipscomb.
That's pretty good fan bases in that bracket there.
Yeah, but I would think that if you're a Kentucky fan, you probably could get tickets. And it wouldn't be crazy.
Yeah. So Kentucky students, I mean, there can't be more than 100 students going.
I mean, that's one way to do spring break. I don't know about you. I've heard you say this before, and I agree with you. You go down to the coast, and you can't even really get in the water this time of year.
Can't get in the water, yeah.
I mean, heated pool, yeah, hot tub, yeah. But, like, you go to Milwaukee, you discover,
a new city?
Right, yeah. I mean, like, be adventurous. Milwaukee, I've heard, is really fun. I've never been there before. Go up to Milwaukee, gas is on Pope.
I think it's actually really cool that he's doing that he's covering the gas money for students. I don't know Scott, do you happen to know, Scott sent this to me last night. Do you happen to know the genesis of this? Did he make this promise a long time ago? Do you know?
No, I'm not sure the background on it. I just saw the tweet.
Yeah, you thought it was kind of strange?
Yeah, I mean, strange, cool. I don't know. I mean, it's not something you normally hear.
You don't.
A coach doing.
Well, I think what it shows is obviously he's trying to sell himself to the fans a little bit because I think it's an incomplete. We don't know what Mark Pope's going to do. He might be the next great Kentucky coach. I think most people doubt that's going to be the case. But look, he's a guy that loves Big Blue, loves Big Blue Nation. Get the kids fired up. Everything's all about recruiting. We're talking about this now. It's just more exposure for Kentucky.
I mean, I think it's a cool story, and I like that Pope is doing this. I thought I'm like you. I thought it was a weird hire, kind of a lazy hire.
Here's what he risked. I don't know what the undergrad enrollment is for Kentucky.
Yeah.
But let's just hypothetically say that 1,000 students decided to go.
What's your guess to, we're talking probably $400, $200, $300?
Well, let's say
Milwaukee to back.
Let's say it's 400. If you're going 1,000 students.
That's $400,000.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
I mean, Pope's getting taken care of as the coach, but that is a lot of money. That's where.
Now, they probably have an NIL deal with local, and they'll probably back up a petroleum truck.
Yeah.
And
one of their big boosters owns a chain of gas stations, and you got to pump the gas there or something like that. But I really do think it's actually a really cool thing he is doing there. One more thing on the NCAA tournament, a reminder, our guy Greg from Pell City can get up on that roof for you and make sure you don't have roof damage. As storms come through Birmingham or through the Deep South, wherever you may be watching us, you know how bad it is. In the Birmingham area, Greg from Pell City is the guy you need to call. Storm Restoration Roofing is the name of Greg's company. He'll get up on that roof, take a look, and make sure that storm didn't damage the roof to the point that you need a new one. If you do need a new one, he works with all the insurance companies, does great work with them, so he can help you out. Here's Greg's number. I'm just going to give you his personal number. 205-542-3531. That's Greg from Pell City, 205-542-3531. Storm Restoration Roofing. Get Greg on that roof and let him take a look at your roof and see what you need from him, if anything at all. Let's go to cut number. Let's do the legendary coaches portion. Cut number 8. Cut number 8, if you will, Tyler. I'm fascinated by this portion of the bracket that's got the legendary coaches in it: John Calipari, Bill Self, and Rick Pitino. I didn't realize this until I saw it this morning. I meant to send Scott the photo. I saw a photo of Kansas's bench back in the day. I didn't know, Rick, that when Larry Brown was at Kansas, that Popovich was an assistant for him.
Oh, I didn't know that either. So that was 1988 when Danny Manning and Kansas under Larry Brown won a national championship.
I'll see if I can find the photo, and I'll send it to Scott for later in the show. But Popovich is on the bench, and Bill Self. How about that bench? Larry Brown, Greg Popovich, and Bill Self on the same bench.
That is incredible.
And I think Alvin Gentry was on the bench as well.
That's always the shot you get, I guess, more so now with Andy Reid when he came from the Green Bay Packers staff that had Gruden on it.
That's right.
I forgot all the coaches that were on that.
You had Gruden, you had Steve Mariucci, you had Andy Reid, and I think there was one more that ended up.
Holmgren was obviously the head guy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, there's oh my gosh, Scott, how does he do this? How quick is that? So you see Larry Brown, the second from the right. Popovich leaned out, and then I know Bill Self is on the bench, but I think that's him next to Pop.
That is right, him next to Pop.
Yeah,
so
that's a pretty good bench.
Is the hair the same?
That's the first thing I looked at, Lance.
Scott, can you give me a confirmation? You're a little closer to it.
I mean,
boy, that does not look like.
It looks like a good head of hair, doesn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so Larry Brown, Greg Popovich, and Bill Self. There are a lot of basketball wins sitting on that Kansas bench. And I did not realize Pop, though, was an assistant in Kansas.
I didn't know that.
I never realized that. I always thought that guy was always in the NBA. All right, but anyway, that part of the bracket does include Bill Self. It also includes a Hall of Famer in the future, John Calipari. Here is the Arkansas coach. He just, there's going to be, I'm going to go ahead and warn you. Tyler's already been warned about this. I'll do the warning for us. There are awkward silences in this. Like he's the king of the pregnant pause. But here's John Calipari talking about his Arkansas team headed into this tournament against Kansas.
I kind of predicted it. I predicted the whole to my team in practice. Here's what they're going to do to us? Should I say it that way? And the team is like, because I've done this.
John, when you said that you predicted it and you told your team, is that about Kansas or is that about St. John's potentially in the second round?
Both. Not that they would be the two.
Okay.
I said they would be the two. If we come out 10, they told me who the 7s were. I said, we'll play Kansas. And if we're the 2, it'll be him. Now, I thought it may be played somewhere else.
Still worth buying a lottery ticket, probably.
Where do you think I thought they put us to play?
Lexington.
Come on. You know what they didn't. I'm like, when I saw we weren't there, I'm like, wow, somebody must have been sick and went to the bathroom or something for them not to put us there.
It had not occurred to me, but how do you not put Pitino and Calipari playing in Lexington? I really hadn't thought of it.
Would have been great. Now, that ticket, the ticket's already a big ticket.
Oh, it's a huge ticket. Yeah, you wouldn't have had Tennessee there. St. John's would have been your 2 there. But them playing in Lexington would have just added to this. It's a fascinating part of the bracket right there with John Calipari. Here's Rick Pitino. Cut 9, please. I don't know how he's going to answer this. Here's what Scott writes for me. Who do you think he's going to say, Lance? It says right here, Rick Pitino. There's only one coach I've ever considered a rival. Is it got to be Calipari from when he was at Louisville and Cal was at Kentucky? I don't know who the answer is. But he's asking, obviously, about, the rivalries, I guess.
I think it's probably got to be.
I mean, that would make sense in this region.
Unless he says Mike Krzyzewski from way back in the day.
Maybe so. Here is the St. John's coach, the 2 seed. The only coach he's ever considered a rival. This is Rick Pitino.
There's only one coach I really considered a rival in my whole career. And I've been blessed to coach against Frank McGuire's last game, coach against Dean Smith. There's only one coach I had a strong rivalry with. And today I respect him as much as anybody in the game, and that was Jim Calhoun. We hated each other, BU and Northeastern, hated each other. And there were 300 people at each arena. He goes on to coach at Connecticut. I go on to coach at Providence, and we hated each other there as well. And today I don't think I respect any coach in the game as much as I respect Jim Calhoun.
All right, that came out of left field.
That did.
Did not know he was going to say Jim Calhoun, but it makes sense now.
It's interesting. I still consider Jim Calhoun a better coach than Dan Hurley. Now, Dan Hurley.
Oh, I would agree with you.
They haven't played yet, but they are going for a three-peat. Nobody is even talking about UConn, and it would be
understandably right.
It would be probably the biggest long shot to win an NCAA tournament. I think the other team that was viewed as that was probably another team out of the Big East in Villanova back in 1985. But do you think Dan Hurley will overtake?
At some point he could.
Yeah.
Yeah, now Jim Calhoun's probably got 750 wins, would you think?
Oh, I think he's knocking on 1,000.
Is that 1,000? Is he that?
Well, I think there's only a handful of people. I think Boeheim finally got right at 1,000. I would think Jim Calhoun with Northeastern, probably 800.
Boeheim had to give some of his back. This may not reflect that number because we always say what you want is what you want. I don't pay any attention, but sometimes these dudes, Krzyzewski has 1,202, Boeheim has 1,015. Probably the guy, and I hate to say this about anybody, but the guy that did least with the most wins is Bob Huggins, 934.
Yeah.
And didn't win any sort of national championship. And was it really, would you say he was ever particularly close to winning?
Well, I think with Kenyon Martin, if he doesn't go down, I think they've got a really good shot, because I think Kenyon Martin, a 6'9" dude that could do absolutely everything, and he was one of those feared players. I think they were going to be the number 1 overall that year.
Yeah. Calhoun's at 920, though, to close that loop there. So it will. I don't even know where Dan Hurley is. It'll take him a long time to get to 920 wins. So now he's ripping them off 25 at a time, for the most part, 30 at a time, but he's got a long way to go to get to 920. I don't know, man. I mean, I don't know that he'll ever get that many wins, but will he win enough national championships that he's viewed in front of them? Maybe so. All right.
And by the way, last team to win 3 straight.
Last team to win 3 straight national championships has to be UCLA. That's always your answer.
In the 70s, you're right.
Before we do Tyler's viewing menu, I want to remind you about ImageCraft. ImageCraft wants you to print more and spend less, so they help you save. Carrying all the major brands, HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, Xerox, and they carry them all right there in their office, in their building, right there in Trussville, 1151 Gadsden Highway, just down the road from the Pinnacle Shopping Center. And they also will ship free on anything they have in stock in the Birmingham Metro. They got same-day delivery there. They'll ship free outside the area. You can save at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. Coupon code TNR10 at imagecraft.net, or shop in store right there in Trussville and just mention the next round for 10% off. As always, they want you to print more, spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft.net for more information. All right, time for the Michelson viewing menu. Tyler going to tell us what he's watching tonight. It's presented, as always, by Michelson.
Yeah, 205-969-8100. Make that call. Ask for Amy. Tell her the next round sent you. She's going to hook you up with a hassle-free consultation. You have 0 to lose to find out if LASIK is right for you. Again, I got the procedure done more than 2 decades ago. 2015 vision. Better than 2020. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, best in the business. Make sure you tell them the next round called. Or make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 205-969-8100 or michelsonlaservision.com.
All right, got a couple big theatrical releases today and a documentary. First off, the movie Locked. When Eddie breaks into a luxury SUV, he steps into a deadly trap set by a self-proclaimed vigilante who delivers his own brand of twisted justice. Trapped inside the car, Eddie soon discovers escape is an illusion and survival is a nightmare. And it stars Bill Skarsgård as the carjacker and Anthony Hopkins as the owner of the car.
Okay, good little cast there.
Yeah, that's good casting.
Skarsgård always plays a weirdo, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah. He takes, like, every weird character that gets thrown to his desk.
He was the attorney everybody hated in Presumed Innocent. No, in the... In the series, Presumed Innocent?
That was Peter
Skarsgård. I'm sorry. That was, I assume, his brother then. He's
Isn't
the one
it
that's
Peter
married to...
Sarsgaard?
Oh,
Nosferatu was Bill.
Was Bill Skarsgård, yeah.
My apologies.
Yeah.
Peter's the one that's married to Maggie Gyllenhaal. Is that the right person? Okay.
Yes.
All right,
Yes,
I had the
yes,
wrong
yes.
person. My apologies.
All
Jim's
right.
not here to do this, so I have to.
Yeah, somebody's got to do it.
Yeah.
Also in theaters, you've got the remake of Snow White. It is a live-action version of Snow White, and it stars Gal Gadot and Rachel Zegler. And it's been called both bad and enchanting. So
Those seem to be conflicting.
Yeah, I'll be seeing that later today.
I've heard somebody say this is going to cost hundreds of millions of dollars to Disney.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a huge loss for Disney. People just aren't interested in it. There's been tons of production issues. The CGI on the dwarves looks disgusting. And on top of that, it's just an issue of every time they do an interview with one of the stars, they say something controversial, and then that gets more attention. People go, I'm not watching this movie.
I like Tyler, though, but I'm going to see it.
Yeah, I'm going to see it. I'm covering it.
You gave us a litany of issues, and then you say, I'm going to see it, though.
Yep. And then finally, on Apple TV, the documentary Old Dirty Bastard, A Tale of Two Dirties releases. 90s hip-hop seems to be the one genre of music that everybody in the office likes, and so I thought I'd add this, and it is the definitive documentary on the founding member of the Wu-Tang Clan, ODB, and it explores how he created the character and how that alter ego ultimately ended up killing him.
Yeah, I was going to say ODB's been gone a long time.
Mm-hmm.
All right, that is what Tyler's watching, presented by Michelson Laser Vision.
Is that a bad nickname, by the way?
Yeah, that's not the one you want. I would have shortened it to ODB as well. What's that stand for? I don't ask.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that. All right, 2 ways you can win, and you need to hurry on, well, I guess really both of them. You've got a little more time on the Shannara Showdown. But the MyBookie.ag bracket challenge right there at nextroundlive.com, you can go get your picks in. But the clock is ticking. We're about to tip off the NCAA tournament, so you need to hurry. To nextroundlive.com. The overall first prize is a great television. We're paying 10 places there. That's your traditional bracket game. Just go fill the bracket out. It takes very little time. I did it this morning myself, and you'll be able to track it on the live leaderboard there. Thank you to mybookie.ag for sponsoring that. It's at nextroundlive.com. Then the Shannara Showdown is also at nextroundlive.com. Scott's also going to throw up a QR code where you can just scan and go right there if you want to. We're giving away cold, hard cash cards. Kansas, Arkansas tonight. This Lance, you go to nextroundlive.com and you just play against the point spread. Very easy to make your pick. Give us your email address so we can get in touch with you if you're the overall winner. But all you got to do is win one to get in the drawing, and you can win pretty much every game if you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. And first place is going to get $1,000. Second, $500. Third, $250, all from our friends at Alexander Shannara Trial Attorneys.
That is the Shannara Showdown. You can find that at nextroundlive.com as well as the mybookie.ag bracket challenge. More of the next round, including Tyler's. Always wild, wacky, crazy 4 downs next.
Follow Dunaway on Twitter and Instagram at Jim Dunaway.
I'm attorney Alexander Shannara, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about one of our favorite places for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. That is Hamburger Heaven since 1982. Hamburger Heaven has been serving Birmingham's best hamburgers, cheeseburgers, French fries, hand-spun milkshakes, and sandwiches made fresh to order. All of their ingredients are fresh and prepared daily. This includes their beef, always fresh, never frozen, hand-pattied each and every day. For breakfast, lunch, or dinner, visit any of the 4 locations, Highway 280, Irondale, Gardendale, and Homewood. Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemphill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemphill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemphill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemphill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090. Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with mybookie.ag. Sign up right now, code NEXTROUND, and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at mybookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with mybookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Plus, $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
Looking to expand your business? Let the Next Round help you. Contact us, sales@nextroundlive.com, and be part of the team. Advertise your product to hundreds of thousands of potential customers on our ever-expanding platforms. The Next Round can take your business to the next level. Join our existing partners in the fastest-growing media space, both live and on demand, while reaching the most desirable audience for your business. Get more information by emailing sales@nextroundlive.com, and one of our team members will work with you to build a plan to take your business to the next level using the Next Round.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Happy football season. At the next round, we strive to make our loyal listeners feel like they're a part of the action all season long. My name is Emily Grace McWhorter, and I do that by bringing you along for any given Saturday in Auburn or Tuscaloosa. From pregame warm-ups, touchdowns that make you feel a part of the play, and everything in between, our goal is to make you feel like you're inside Bryant Denny or Jordan Hare. Follow along on our social media at Next Round Live on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Also, check out thebarnauburn.com and covercrimson.com while you're at it. Here's to fall Saturdays.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
All right, we continue on the next round. NCAA Tournament tipping soon. Sometimes, I think in a lot of things, we look back at our childhood so fondly. There was something about
even if the childhood wasn't good. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and I had a great childhood. I was blessed. The good Lord blessed me with two parents that were fantastic parents. My brother and I just had a really good childhood.
Vicky could not make good beef stroganoff, though, right?
It was leftover beef stroganoff. The stuff you remember, that is wild to me that you remember the beef stroganoff that I threw up all over Plaza Cinemas.
I had this really spicy bolognese over really good hearty penne last night.
Yeah.
I told you the joint I went to, which is such an underrated joint in Birmingham.
It is, and I have eaten there. I've not had their spicy bolognese. Was it super spicy?
No, just a little bit. You know, and the gravy was more of a darker, like almost a wine-based gravy. I mean, it was fantastic.
So for those that don't know that story, I played pool wiffle ball all day, Tyler, in the middle of the summer. I mean, when I say all day, we played all day pool wiffle ball. And then I went home, showered, and we had leftover beef stroganoff, and I ate it and went to watch In the Line of Fire. Have you ever seen that, the old Clint Eastwood, John Malkovich movie?
I have not.
That's good, man.
That's a classic. You ought to watch that.
I need to watch more Clint Eastwood movies.
Yeah, that's one of Clint Eastwood's best, I would say.
I don't know about that, but it was good.
I liked it in The Line of Fire. Malkovich is fantastic in it. Let me see if you can believe this. He plays a demented, crazy guy that wants to assassinate the president.
No way. John Malkovich is the villain?
I know.
Whoa.
But he is really good as the villain in that movie. Fantastic in the movie. Rene Russo. I'm trying to remember the main cast members.
Dylan McDermott.
Rene Russo. Clint Eastwood. So anyway,
that was always, hey, we need somebody that's kind of sneaky hot in their 40s. Let's go Rene Russo.
What's Rene Russo doing? You remember Thomas Crown Affair? Her and
I never saw it.
Oh, you never saw that with her and Pierce Brosnan? That's a good flick too.
I remember
That's a
her
smart movie.
in Major League. She was Jake Taylor's girlfriend. Remember?
In fact, it's not my answer for one of your questions, but Thomas Crown Affair could easily answer one of your questions today.
It's a good movie.
It's a good flick. Now, there's the old one and the new one. I've never seen the old one, but I've seen the one with Pierce Brosnan and Rene Russo. Anyway,
that's the only one I've seen.
Went to see In the Line of Fire. Had to leave in the middle of the movie, and it did not end well for me with the beef stroganoff.
And you have not had beef stroganoff
Never
since,
again.
yeah.
In fact, I bring it up so often. Jennifer has once told me, when I kill you, it will be beef stroganoff. No, wait, not when. If I kill you, it will be beef stroganoff. Totally different sentence.
Big difference
Yeah,
there.
totally different sentence. My apologies. If I kill you, it will be beef stroganoff.
One is a joke, the other's a threat.
Correct, yes. And I want to be abundantly clear, it was the joke version that she said. So anyway, In the Line of Fire is the name of the movie. I have no clue where I was going with this. Oh, childhood. When you had that PE coach and he'd roll the TV in to watch the first games of the NCAA tournament, that was so awesome. Now, you'd randomly get the English teacher, did not care. But the PE coach, if you happen to have one of the football coaches, for history or something like that, and he'd roll that TV in, and you'd over the air antenna, you're watching CBS, Georgetown playing, St. Peter's in a 116 game. That was the life, man.
I remember these first rounds, early on the workforce, and the early days of sales, and making sure that this Thursday and Fridays were completely clear.
Yeah.
We would go to a sports bar and post up and eat lunch there and dinner there.
That's right. I've had multiple meals at sports bars watching this. You mentioned the old Damon's over in Hoover. That was a great. I remember I watched a lot of NCAA tournament, and then it became a seafood joint, didn't it? and they kept
No,
the
I don't
sports bar
know, did
theme.
it?
I think that was a sports bar theme with seafood. I remember that. And we watched the NCAA tournament there. We watched the NCAA tournament at Dixie Fish. Speaking of seafood, you remember that?
Oh, yeah.
That's where I can't remember who got upset, but that was an upset that cost me a bracket challenge right out of the shoot.
I think that was Duke. I think Duke got beat.
Yeah, cost me a bracket challenge right out of the chute. One of the greatest predictions I ever made. Me, you, Fitzy, and Dunaway were doing a show together at Wings. Do you remember that upset of the Duke Blue Devils? First round, Mercer beat them. You remember Mercer beating Duke?
Mercer beat them and Lehigh beat them.
Yeah, Mercer beat Duke in the first round, and I called it at that Wings, and you and Fitzy was like, Ryan Brown, what are you talking about? And it ended up being absolutely right. That's one of the few I've ever gotten. Anyway, I say all that to say our childhood was cool when we used to watch this. Hemp Hill Services brings you part of the show today.
You had air as a child, right?
I did. I had air conditioning.
You had plumbing.
Thank the good Lord had all those things.
Dunaway had one of the three, right?
That's right.
The old stove. I don't know if he did. Did he have any of them? He didn't have plumbing.
Did he have an outhouse?
At some point in his life, he used an outhouse.
He has shit in a hole before.
Yeah, I don't know if that was permanent, but yeah, at some point in his
You
life.
can actually tell somebody you work with somebody who used to shit in a hole.
That's right. It randomly comes up in conversations.
Yes.
I'll make sure to bring it up later.
Yeah.
Heating, cooling, plumbing since 1954. Adam, Chad, Andrew, the guys there, they are ready to serve you. 205-229-2090. Hard to stop a train. For more information, hemphillservices.com.
And don't forget our friends at Alabama Power as well. From that first sip of coffee to your late night movie, Alabama Power's got your back, working hard to keep everything running smoothly. They're using the latest tech to keep outages at bay and offering free tools to help you save energy. And with teams available 24/7, 365, you can count on them to do everything in their power to power everything you do. Check out alabamapower.com to see how they're making the services they deliver even more reliable now and for the future. All right, let's do 4 downs. Tyler does 4 downs every single Thursday for us. They're always creative. We always enjoy them, and they're always brought to you by Bojangles. If you're tired of choosing between sweet and savory, why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The signature Cajun chicken filet drizzled with a bowberry glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Available for a limited time at Bojangles. It's bow time. Tyler, first down.
First down.
The wrestler Sting turns 66 years old today. If you were a wrestler, what would be your character's name, look, and gimmick?
I'd be the OG Sting. I'm doing this on the fly because when I saw Sting, I thought it had something to do with the singer,
the music.
So I would just be like, I'm the original Sting, and I would sing. I'd have my hair shaved. I'd sing Fields of Gold, jump off the turnbuckle. I have no idea. This is going to be really a deep one.
Fields of Gold. Is that the best Sting song? Is Fields of Gold?
I have no idea. It's just one of his solo songs, right? Do you have something?
I got something. I could not come up with a good name. Maybe there's a better name for it.
Well,
but
you give it, and then we'll come up with a name.
I would lean into the whole golf thing. Like, I would dress in, I'd come to the ring in my golf shirt and my pants, and I'd pop those off, And
why wouldn't you be the driver and do, like, the pile driver is your
That's it.
signature?
That's my thing. That's my finish move is the pile driver.
Yeah.
Here comes the driver, and I've got my golf bag and all that, and I may have in my golf bag, like, you could stick your hand in there, and I got something I'll put in the guy's face, And
then when you're breaking all the HR rules of the WWE or whatever it is, and you're like, you go up to the Charlotte Flair of the world, and you're like, hey, you want to see my driver?
You could, for your finishing move, you could put them in a big golf bag, and then you just put them over your shoulder and walk out.
Yeah, that's very practical. Yeah,
No,
the guy weighs like 300 pounds.
Put tees in your hand and take somebody's eyes out.
Oh, that's right. I punch with the tees in my hand.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm the driver.
Hey, and then you mark, like when they're laid out, you mark their with your green. What are they called? People do it with coins or whatever.
Oh,
your
the
ball
marker.
marker.
The ball marker.
Yeah.
That's my finishing move.
Yeah.
Is I've got him unconscious, and I go up and I just put a ball marker down by him and walk out. Yep. And they zoom in on it. That's my finishing move.
Could you have something within the leather?
I don't know how you would work that one. Yeah. But we could workshop
Yeah,
this,
we could.
and
We
I
could.
could come up with a really good wrestling character that everybody would hate. Everybody would hate. I'd be a villain. I think the golf guy's the villain.
I think so too.
But growing up, I kind of liked the villains. Like Roddy Piper, he was a villain, but I always kind of liked him because I thought he was funny. You remember Roddy Piper? You
Yeah, I
weren't a
mean, the
big wrestling guy,
villains.
were you?
Oh, no, so I remember the whole WWF when I remember the, Jimmy Superfly Snuka and Junkyard Dog and Hillbilly Jim. I remember that group of wrestlers. Watched it a little bit. I just never got into it.
Already?
Second down.
5 years ago today, Tiger King premiered on Netflix. Absolutely took the world by storm while everybody was in lockdown, quarantine, whatever you want to call it.
The most amazing timing, maybe in entertainment history. That thing, without COVID, I don't think it ever takes off.
No, I don't think it takes. I think it's more like what was the Kings of Tupelo, which I finally watched that. I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
This wasn't Kings Tupelo, not nearly as sensational as Tiger King. Obviously, we've had Tiger King on the show before. But I remember nestling down and watching that thing, man.
Yep.
And it did drag when you got to like episode 4 or 5. But initially, it was amazing. And I'll never forget, we got our friend Charles Barkley. We were doing, I don't even know where you were in 2020. Where were you?
Were you at Auburn?
I was in Auburn, yeah.
So we were just looking for things to do. And I remember our friends at Redmont Vodka, former sponsor, we decided to do like an afternoon cocktail hour. And so I did a stream with Barkley. We did it live. And when we were on there, I was like, dude, I just finished this series. You got to watch Tiger King. So he watched it, and he was so pissed that he watched it. Now, of course he watched it, though. But the best thing I thought were the videos that what was his name? Joe
Exotic.
Joe Exotic was doing the I saw a tiger, tiger saw a man.
Yeah.
The Here Kitty Kitty when he's got a Carol Baskin look-alike in the video. Those videos are some of the best videos I've ever seen.
I'm with Scott. The line of "I'm never going to financially recover from this."
Such a good line.
Great.
I mean, Scott, that was just like that was the seminal moment of the entire series.
Yeah, when one of his best workers loses her arm.
I know, and he goes, "I'm never going to financially recover from this."
And then wasn't she back a week later with a nub?
Yeah,
Yes.
and then I think there was another guy on there who lost both his legs, and then when they interview him, he goes, "Oh, don't worry, it wasn't the tiger."
Okay, good. That makes
Like,
it so much better.
I was worried.
Yeah, that was a wild ride. Without COVID, I don't think that thing ever makes it.
You're probably
agree.
right.
Yep.
But all that was to lead up to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What was your favorite Tiger King moment? We kind of touched on it.
Yeah,
there.
mine were the videos.
Yep, I'm never going to financially recover from this.
Yeah, he was so pissed. And he had the old school Wild West. He had the pistol on his hip, didn't he?
Yeah, the first time you see him, right? Is he on the Sea-Doo the first time you see him, or is he walking towards
Sea-Doo's a different guy. We had the Sea-Doo guy on as well.
Yeah, that's right.
He was
wanted
the guy
to. He wanted to refute.
dispute what Joe Exotic was saying.
Yeah, Joe Exotic said it, and then Sea-Doo guy wanted to dispute it. Yeah, the first time you see him, he's got
the visual. I think of the Sea-Doo guy might be the number one visual coming out of the show. Because you got the fat dude, the hair just blowing back.
Yeah, I remember that now.
And then there was the other dude in Myrtle Beach who had like all the tigers, and then he had like
the tight ponytail, right?
Yeah, and then he had like 5 girlfriends, all like
Rick Anton, maybe.
It's like Doc Antle. That's
Doc
what it was.
Antle.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
He had like just a whole group of women living with him in these different apartments.
Yep.
Multiple.
Had that
$1 million.
golf cart just,
Look at that, Scott. I mean, that is amazing. Fat guy.
I'm being honest, man. Like the old Game of Thrones, you try to take that guy's head off, it's going to take 2 chops. Ain't nobody going clean with that. Jon Stark or Jon Snow, Ned Stark, any of those guys. 2 shots.
Third down.
Mr. Rogers would have been 97 years old today. Who had the better career, Mr. Rogers, Kenny Rogers, or Roger Federer?
Oh, that's a tough one.
Yeah, I would go Roger
This is not
Federer.
tough, by the way.
Oh, wow, Scott.
I would go Federer just based on his accomplishments and that bankroll. Federer, I mean, I can't even imagine what it is. Now, Kenny Rogers probably made quite a lot of money, and then I would think Mr. Rogers, if he was around right now with syndication, but back to the syndication talk yesterday, I don't think he got money on that.
I think he also gave away a lot of money, too.
Yeah.
What was his... I hated the show because it was on a couple of times as a kid. He would come and take his sweater off.
Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood?
Yeah, he would change into a sweater, and he would put on more comfortable shoes. It's like he's coming home from work, I guess.
Sweater's never been comfortable for me.
No, it's too hot.
It's
I don't want to be
itchy,
hot.
too.
Yeah. And I always liked the ancillary characters that were over by the train track with I didn't like the owl that was a king. You remember that?
I don't remember those characters.
King Friday, yeah, not the owl. There was an owl over there. King Friday I didn't like, but I always kind of liked the train track thing over there. And I think there was a tiger, right? Wasn't that it became another kid's show?
Was it Daniel Tiger?
Daniel Tiger, yeah. I think that spawned off Mr. Rogers, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I don't remember those characters.
This is Federer. Landslide.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, is he the greatest tennis player of all time? Fed?
He's in that conversation.
He's in the conversation.
The other guys are not in that conversation, and they're fields.
I do like Kenny Rogers chicken. That stuff was good.
I mean,
Never got
Mr.
to
Rogers
try
is in that
Kenny Rogers
conversation.
roasters.
I don't know what the genre is. Like weird. It almost had a creepy element to it.
Yeah.
Children's TV.
Always creepy.
Fourth down.
Chester Bennington, lead singer of Linkin Park, would have been 49 years old today. One of their songs, What I've Done, was at the end of Transformers, directed by Michael Bay, and I think it's one of the most perfect endings to a movie. You cannot write a better ending to that movie. So I ask you, what movie has the best ending scene?
I didn't know where you were going. I didn't know who Chester Bennington was until I pulled it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I remember the Linkin Park guy that died. I cannot believe you say any Michael Bay movie ending is incredible. Is this the original Transformers?
It was 2007, so I guess the original of the live action. But I think
it's the only one I saw. Way too loud.
For the time it was released, that ending was perfect. It's a time capsule.
I thought a perfect ending, Usual Suspects, Kaiser Soze.
That's a good one.
Yeah, I thought the way that thing
The one I was
wrapped up-
going to say.
Oh, wow.
Yep.
I think it is one of my favorite movies of all time, Inception. That ending scene is just incredible.
Made me think too much. Still don't know.
See,
if I
I thought
figured it
you
out.
liked the open-ended.
I do.
Yeah, that
but-
was as open-ended as you could get.
Like, my daughter is the biggest Severance fan in the world. And we were talking about that at dinner. And she was like, are you caught up? And I'm like, I'm actually 3 behind now because I'm completely lost. Like, if you want to explain this to me.
They are. The thing I hate about Severance now is they're being intentionally confusing. They're confusing just for the sake of being confusing.
Yeah, and you don't have to do that. I'm already confused.
I don't think all this stuff's going to tie into the storyline. I just think they're throwing in crazy weird stuff. And I've gotten sucked in long enough I've got to see how this thing ends, but I don't know that I actually like it.
How difficult would it be if you were like in China trying to watch Severance without subtitles?
Oh, I know. I mean, explain it. It just makes no sense whatsoever. Here are some people from the MyBookie.ag chat room. Shawshank from John. He's on the boat and he looks up, sees him coming.
It's a good one. I agree
spoiler
with
alert on all
Smuff
these.
and
brother.
R. Stews saying 7. That's one of my favorite movies.
Oh, 7.
It's a hard ending, but it's an ending.
It's that's perfectly done too.
Chad says Gladiator. That was a good ending to Gladiator.
Yeah, I didn't mind
walking through the field.
Did not mind him going down. I think there's probably a lot of test audiences that were like, we want Maximus to survive.
Forrester says Departed. You like that one, Scotty? Departed?
Great ending.
Great ending.
I thought Departed was too much though. Like the carnage at the end. Like
there's a body count.
There's a body count, but I mean, and you're like, holy hell, what just happened? Because it's just nonstop. The whole DiCaprio Damon elevator scene. Mm-hmm. But I did like the Marky Mark Damon scene at the end as well.
Chad says Man on Fire. It's a tough ending, but it's a good one.
I think I'm pretty good at math. I never understood a life for a life because he has to actually give two, right?
Because he gives his for hers.
Yeah, but he gives his brother back. That's a life for a life.
That's true.
Yeah. So I was like, you want your brother back? Yeah. You give me what was her name? Pippa, something like that. Anyway, Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
You give me Dakota back. I'm going to give you your brother missing a hand.
Yeah, I was about to say he didn't give his whole brother back.
But if I'll let you take a couple of digits off, we'll call it even. But I'm not me and him for her. That math doesn't work.
Does he blow that guy's hand off? I mean, he does. He's got that shotgun. He just pulls the trigger.
He is. He's on a clock.
Yeah.
He doesn't like to mess around at all.
I love that movie.
Very efficient.
Jake says Captain Phillips. I maintain the final scenes of Captain Phillips, the best acting Tom Hanks has ever done.
It's really good.
Good.
When he's in the and the girls asking him questions. Whew, boy, that is so good. It's a good flick right there. PETA. That was her name. You're right. All right, that is 4 Downs presented by Bojangles. Very good, Tyler. Enjoyed that. All right, let's take a look at some of the point spreads at mybookie.ag. Lance has already told us his free lock today going to be those Clemson Tigers.
We do need
BYOG.
So second hour, as you pull these numbers, are we going to get into our Final Four picks?
I can.
And are we going to do our bracket challenge?
We can.
Okay.
I've got some written down right here. We just got to pick one.
Yeah.
Clemson, 7.5 point favorite over McNeese. That's your free play today at Lance's Lock. You can also play it at mybookie.ag, code next round. Clemson minus 7.5. Will Wade now maybe open with 2 jobs. I mean, Texas looked like they wanted Sean Miller. I don't know why they wouldn't look at Will Wade.
Yeah, I mean, I think they'll take a look at both. But, this Clemson team, they've won 14 of their 15 regular season games to end the season, including a victory over Duke. They were a team that made an Elite Eight run last year. P.J. Hall now in the G League, but Chase Hunter is a closer. And you've got a coach that now is going to stay put.
Yeah, I mean, Brad Brownell did not get the Indiana job, so I don't think he's going anywhere, which is great for Clemson.
Yeah, and I think he'll get an extension, and I think he's done a hell of a job there. And
I'm sure he leveraged that for an extension.
Did you realize this? The longest tenured coach right now in the ACC is Brownell.
I did not realize that. Brad Brownell's the longest tenured coach in the ACC.
Sure is.
I guess it makes sense. I mean, if you let me think through that. Steve Forbes has been at Wake for a little bit.
Not long, though. I mean, Danny Manning was there 5 years ago.
Yeah. All right, so 7.5 is the point spread there. I am most interested. We agreed on this. BYU minus the 2 against VCU. That game, I think, is going to be fascinating. The Gonzaga-Georgia game is fascinating. Gonzaga minus 7 in an 8-9 game over Georgia. Pretty big line for an 8-9 game.
What time do you think these games will go to?
Let's see. What is the latest tip? You've got a 9:10 tip, Texas Tech and UNC Wilmington. That's going to probably go till about 12:30. 9:10. No, not 12:30. 12.
2-hour window, but it probably will get pushed back.
It's going to start late.
Probably 11:30 or 12.
11:30 or 12, yeah. I probably went too late on that. All right, you can play all those games at mybookie.ag. Code next round at mybookie.ag. When you use code next round there, you will get a great sign-on bonus, 50% deposit bonus, up to $1,000. That is free money for you to play with right there at mybookie.ag. Also, a $10 casino chip at mybookie.ag you can use in the casino area. Code next round gets you all of that 50% sign-on bonus up to $1,000 and a $10 casino chip. MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere. Tournament time's a great time to jump on. MyBookie.ag. Code next round.
Call the next round now at 205-734-0923.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, you're in the red zone for every college rivalry and divisional matchup all season long. I mean, where else are the scenic views as good as your view of the game? Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
If renting is putting a dent in your bank account, here's your sign from the universe that it's time to buy a new home. And who better to help you through the ins and outs of home buying than our friends at Mortgage Right. With Mortgage Right, you don't have to worry about becoming a short-notice mortgage expert because they do all the heavy lifting for you. They're trusted mortgage professionals, and they'll help you choose the right mortgage option and stand by your side every step of the way. Visit mortgageright.com/TNR to buy before renting runs you dry. That's mortgageright.com/TNR. NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, there's nothing worse than waking up to a plumbing problem. Don't get caught in a flooded house. Call the guys at Hemp Hill Services. Adam, Chad, and the team at Hemp Hill are the only ones I trust to fix it and fix it right the first time. Hemp Hill Services does it right and always at a fair price. For all of your plumbing, cooling, and heating needs, trust the name that Birmingham has trusted since 1954. That is Hemp Hill Services. Call now, 205-229-2090. That's 205-229-2090.
Want more of the show? Download the app or visit nextroundlive.com for the latest podcast, The Mystery Fifth Hour, our Not For All Ages podcast, The Last Call, and the entire Double Down Media podcast family. All at nextroundlive.com and on the Next Round app.
Do you need some refreshed college wear to represent your team this year? Shop Roback's Game Day collection that includes both Alabama and Auburn. From quarter zips to hoodies, Roback has it all. Get 20% off on us using code TNR20 at roback.com.
What a great time of year to be online with our friends at mybookie.ag, mybookie.ag, where right now you get a major current sign-up bonus, a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip when using the code NEXTROUND. That's code NEXTROUND. We're talking about all the madness of March, the NBA playoff race, the start of Major League Baseball, and it's all for you right now online when using the code NEXTROUND. Go sign up today, mybookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
No matter the occasion, the Next Round store has you covered with whatever you need. Head over to nextround.store and start filling your cart up now. When you wear your gear, make sure to let us know by posting on socials, and you might just end up seeing yourself during a commercial break. Go browse now at nextround.store and place your order before the break ends.
Storm season is here. Make sure you have a plan of action in place right now. Greg from Pell City and Storm Restoration Roofing should be your first call when storms hit. Insurance companies love working with Storm Restoration Roofing because of Greg Nelson's name and reputation in the industry. When storms hit, call Greg Nelson. He's local, 205-542-3531. He's the home of the free no-cost roof inspection. Greg from Pell City on Facebook, 205-542-3531. It's Storm Restoration Roofing.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between two warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Jim Dunaway, Lance Taylor, Ryan Brown. Live from the Birmingham Racecourse Casino Studios, the next round, presented by Bud Light, is on now.
All right, show flying by. We're about to get to
Boy, it has been a quick show.
It really has.
We got a lot to do because we are checking in Lexington.
Yep,
We've got our bracket challenge.
Yep.
We've got our Final Four. Will we get Dunaway back on for the Final Four at the end of the show, maybe?
Yeah, he's at shoot-around right now. I'll see if he can jump on with us real quick.
Can Alabama make it through shoot-around without Dunaway?
I do not know, man. This is going to be... It's going to be tough for them. It's going to be the toughest challenge they face.
Well, we'll hit him up and break and see if he's got 5 minutes to close out the show.
Yep. We'll try to get his Final Four on. So we got a lot to get to. The tournament is about to tip. Always an exciting time, man, when that NCAA tournament. When you first hear that CBS basketball music.
That first cold beer. Tastes so good on a Thursday. As you know, the weekend is going to be nothing but buzzer beaters.
Yeah.
Do you think we have a buzzer beater tonight?
Yeah, 100%. It's the NCAA tournament. You're going to have one. I now pick the game.
Well, you know, you would think that it's going to be a game that is evenly matched, like a VCU and BYU, right?
Yeah. I think that's going to be such an entertaining game. Now, I've played this up enough that it's probably going to be a dud. But I think that's going to be an extremely entertaining game.
I could see Creighton Louisville. I mean, our first game to get this thing going, I could see that absolutely come down to a first possession or a final possession.
That is the first game out, an 11:15 tip as we do this live. Many of you are listening on replay, I understand, or watching on replay. We're about 10 minutes away. I do remember we were talking about our childhood earlier. I remember as a kid when those first games would come on, you rarely knew which game you were getting.
Had no idea. Yeah, we're going to take it to Logan, Utah.
Yeah, and I'm like, that's not the game I wanted.
I remember being in school at Alabama and having to go to the Houndstooth. And the Houndstooth had one of those big-ass satellites out back so they could shift those coordinates back in the 90s. And they would try to have every game on. And, you know, PTs obviously did it locally, man. But it was – and then finally with DirecTV, you got the March Madness package, which was awesome.
Yeah. And so that gave you – I never had that with DirecTV. I don't think the March Madness package.
It gave you access to every game.
So you basically what you have now.
Yeah.
But you just had to pay for it back then.
Yep. But there was something more fun about it because I think the whip-arounds were so different back then with Greg Gumbel.
Yeah. No, I agree because you would get excited when they would go back to the studio and the late, great Greg Gumbel would say, okay, we've St. John's has pulled out to a big lead. We're going to take you now, though. And you're not, all right, I'm about to get a good game. Here we go. St. John's blowing out somebody. I'm about to get a good game.
Hey, where are you on Greg McDermott as a head coach?
I think Greg McDermott's a really good head coach that has been at a job where he's probably capped out what he can do.
You know what's crazy?
I mean, you don't think he can win a national championship there, do you?
I don't think he can. You know, a team he had a couple of years ago was really, really good. The team that actually Alabama faced in the was it the Sweet 16? Creighton was in a regional final a couple of years ago. Anyway, I was going to tell you, so this is 5 consecutive tournament trips for Creighton. So I think you're kind of used to that Creighton brand being amongst, you know, the consistent brands that get into this dance every single year. But Creighton, 3 of the last 4 years, they've advanced to the second weekend.
But don't you agree with me that he's probably capped that way he can do that? I think he'll finish his career there. I don't think Greg McDermott's ever going to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think Creighton's ever going to be a UConn. I don't know if Creighton will ever even scratch what Butler did. But, it's one of the best Group 5 jobs out there in a really good conference in the Big East. I don't know if we consider them Group 5 because the Big East.
The Big East is a power conference.
Yeah.
I consider it a power conference.
So, I think Creighton, with the resources they've got, especially for hoops, and they don't have some random football team, do they?
No, they don't. I mean, that's it. They're a hoop school. Last hour, Yay, Alabama's collective reported that
they've kicked Dunaway out of practice.
They've kicked Dunaway out of practice for yelling. No, that Grant Nelson is a game-time decision. So when there won't be an injury report because these are not SEC games anymore. I almost said when the injury report comes out, but there won't be one now. Grant Nelson and Dunaway's got this at nextroundlive.com from Jim's coverage, at Next Round Live on social media from Jim's coverage up in Cleveland. Grant Nelson in the Alabama locker room today says, if I can help our team win, I'm going to play, but it's a game-time decision right now. So game-time decision for Robert Morris tells me probably more of a probable for round 2 against whoever advances out of the Vanderbilt-St. Mary's game.
Yeah, I think that's when you're going to see Grant Nelson. I mean, what would you do if you're Nate Oats? If medical staff is like, okay, he's cleared, he can play, you go to Grant, and Grant's like, yeah, I can give it a go today. I feel good enough to play. I'd be like, hey, look, we're not even going to dress you.
Yeah.
I mean,
right.
seriously.
I don't even want to be.
I mean, no disrespect
tempted.
to the 11 or 12, 15s that have beaten 2s. But, if we lose this game without you, that's on us.
Yeah. All right, this is the Champy's Hour. Champy's world-famous fried chicken. Highway 119 down in Alabaster is where you find Champy's. Sterling and the crew have just thrown the door open. They'll have the games on there. At Champy's Chicken, you can get those world-famous Mississippi Delta recipe tamales, the great po' boys, all the great sides, great drinks, and great desserts right there at Champy's. Champy'sChicken.com, Champy'sChicken.com. You ask, you shall receive. I just brought it up, and our team in the back already has it ready to go. So here is what Grant Nelson said to Dunaway and the collective media there. Our coverage from the NCAA Tournament presented by Culver's. And here is what Grant had to say about his injury.
It's getting better every day. I think right now it's still a game-time decision, so we'll see how today goes and tomorrow warming up. It obviously sucks that I'm facing an injury right now, but, I'm going to do what I can to get out there tomorrow and hopefully help my team get a win.
Is it one of those things that you manage the pain and you can do that, or is it either a go or no go? It's just pain tolerant? Tell me about that.
I'm not really even sure. It's with my patella tendon, so it's just kind of, we'll see how I feel tomorrow, and if I could help our team win, I'm going to play. It's a game-time decision right now.
You say your patella tendon is a strain?
Strain, yeah.
When you first went down with it, were you instantly worried that you wouldn't be able to participate in the tournament? What kind of thoughts went through your mind when it first happened?
I was focused on the Florida game, because I wanted to play that game. Obviously, I wanted to play for a SEC championship, but it's obviously sucked in the moment and couldn't finish the game. But I wasn't really thinking of the tournament much at that point.
That is Grant Nelson from the locker room just a few moments ago with Jim Dunaway in the media there in Cleveland. Again, our coverage presented by Culver's from those two sites, Cleveland and Lexington. Grant, pretty chill about his injury there. Didn't even know a lot of details about his injury. I don't listen to that and think that guy's not playing in the NCAA tournament. He's going to play some, right?
Yeah, I think we would already know if he wasn't going to play in this tournament.
Yeah, so I don't think you'll see him against Robert Morris. Again, don't think Bama needs him against Robert Morris. I would imagine you get to see him, so maybe not a full 30 or something like that in the second round, but I think you will definitely see him in the second round. All right, so stay with Next Round Live on social media for Little T from up in Lexington and Dunaway from Cleveland. And we'll check in with both of them. Little T coming up with us in just a few minutes right now. Tyler, if you will, let's do the Shinara Spotlight. Our daily college football spotlight as we look at a story from the college football world. This one is going to stun you. I tell you, stun you from the college football world today. If you will, Tyler, please hit it.
The College Football Spotlight.
Shinara Spotlight presented by Alexander Shinara Trial Attorneys. If you find yourself in need of an attorney, Shinara.com is a great place to start. And they've been doing it for a long time. They now not only handle personal injury claims, but claims for fire and storm damage, bad drug and device claims, disability, workers' compensation, and a host of other claims. Shannara.com. From On3 Sports, report, Georgia wide receiver Nitro Tuggle has been arrested. See, Lance, if you can guess what the charge is.
I am going to say it has something to do with a traffic violation. And I'm going to say, I'm going to get a little more detailed on this, a little more specific, and I am going to say it is speeding, reckless driving.
You got 2 for 2.
I'm going to go on and throw in a DUI.
No DUI.
Okay,
you need to
good.
stop there.
Okay.
Speeding and reckless driving, misdemeanor charges. Otherwise, not that big of a deal, except for the fact that it's happening at Georgia. Tuggle, a rising sophomore, according to UGAsports.com, was booked into the Athens Clark County Jail at approximately 1:56 Eastern Time this morning, released an hour later after posting $20 cash bond. That is a small bond, I guess, for a misdemeanor. $20 is not much.
Kirby Smart's head's got to explode. I don't understand.
Don't know how.
It almost, and look, I'm not taking up for the athlete here at all, but it's almost like the Athens Police Department has some kind of grudge against. I don't ever remember, and I think things were buried a lot more in the 90s and before social media. I don't remember guys getting arrested back in the 90s. And it seems like every 2 or 3 months you're having one of these Georgia players get popped for the exact same thing.
It is baffling to me.
So it's almost like, hey, we're on the lookout for Georgia players.
I just don't know how it's the same thing over and over and over and over again. It is the same exact infraction over and over and over again. And it's just, I don't know how, even if it is a witch hunt, let's go worst case scenario, it's a witch hunt by some law enforcement agency, which I don't think it is. But even if it was, if you're Kirby Smart, you know that you've still got to somehow get it under control. Even worse, though, is it's probably not a witch hunt. It's just guys that are continuing to make the same exact bad decision over and over and over again.
Yeah, but again, if you're Kirby, and I know this is difficult to do because it's all about recruiting, NIL, people can, they can bolt at any point. But don't you say, hey, look, man, we've got to figure this out. We've got open Ubers. I don't know. You can't tell guys they can't drive, I guess.
No,
but
you don't tell me you can't drive. Just tell me you can't drive, 40 miles an hour over the speed limit.
Do you put a governor on everybody's car?
I don't know what you do. But obviously Kirby doesn't either because this continues to happen.
Jeeves, are you a reckless driver?
I am not. I typically drive a little under the speed limit, except for a few places around here where the speed limit will be posted 50, but everybody drives 75.
Right,
so
and you
got to keep up to not get killed.
I don't. I am an aggressive driver, which I will admit. You've ridden with me. You would call me an aggressive driver.
Yeah, very aggressive.
Okay, very aggressive is what Lance would call me. I don't find myself to be unsafe. Do you find me as an unsafe driver?
You like to toe the line of. I appreciate you driving, but I'll never forget we're out in L.A. and we're in, a Prius, I think.
Was it a Prius?
And he's riding people's asses.
Well, they wouldn't go, Tyler.
Yeah. Like you can ride somebody's ass in a Tahoe, but a Prius.
See, when somebody rides my bumper, I slow down.
Yeah.
I say, no, you stay back. You stay a safe distance back. I'm going to go 15 now.
Boy, I got double flicked off yesterday or 2 days ago.
Double birds?
Yeah, he had the really, really dark, like he had gotten his eyes dilated.
Yeah.
Older dude, but he was just going so freaking slow. So I went off the yield into a neighborhood where one of the lanes is about to close, and I tried to go around him. He took both hands off the steering wheel.
Wow, that's safe. Yeah. The old double bird. All right, that is the Shannara Spotlight. Shannara.com. That is Shannara.com. Little T, got to check in with us in just 1 second from up in Lexington, I should say. They are underway with Creighton and Louisville. A lot of Louisville red in the stands. So the storyline everybody's talking about, will Louisville show up, this close to Rupp Arena? Is it going to be like a home court? It is for this first game. We'll see if they make it through. Our coverage from both Cleveland and Lexington is presented by our friends at Culver's. And Little T is about to join us from up there in Lexington, where Auburn will start their NCAA Tournament action today. Remember at Culver's, the deluxe fresh, never frozen ground beef on a butter bun with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and American cheese cooked to order. You also can create your own concrete mixers. Choose from the many toppings at Culver's. Have them added to your custard and blended together. It is Culver's Welcome to Delicious. Little T up there in Lexington, about to head over to Rupp Arena. How are you, Taylor Korn? Everything good?
Yes, I'm great. How are y'all?
Doing
good.
awesome.
That's a good-looking room. Not to take shots at where we stayed last weekend. It was okay, but that looks different. It's kind of unique. You like?
The hotel?
Yeah,
it's great. The hotel that we're staying in is a extended stay hotel. So I have a stovetop that I won't use, but I have it's a full kitchen. There's a dishwasher, a full fridge. It's a massive room, but yeah, it's great.
So any travel issues getting up to Lexington yesterday? I don't know. You might have talked to Dunaway. It seems like everywhere he went, there was a roadblock involved. But for you, was it pretty seamless?
No. It was
in a word, no.
But mine was self-inflicted. My flight was at 5:30 a.m. and I'm not always the greatest at being right on time, but I set a bunch of alarms. I went to bed early. I was completely packed the night before. I get to the airport at about 4:38, I think is when I pulled in. And I wasn't expecting anyone to be at the airport at 4:30 on a Wednesday. I was very incorrect. I got up to check my bag, and there was a family of 12 and a family that did not speak English that was having a very hard time communicating with the...
Is this Birmingham Airport?
This is Birmingham. And so I'm sitting there, and this family, I swear it was 12 people. They were trying to check the bags. It was a nightmare. I think it took 15 minutes for either of those two to go. And then there's, you got the priority line. You have 3 different lines. So they're trying to rotate evenly through these lines. Me and the 2 people in front of me were like, we kept refreshing our phones, trying to see all right, are we supposed to be boarding right now? I get up to the line at 5. So I stood in line for a very, very long time. I go to check my bag, and she was like, oh, darling, you can't check your bag anymore. And I was like, well,
darling,
that's going to be an issue because I have way too much full size, whatever. So she said, we're going to have to find you a different route to take to get to Lexington. And at this point, I'm like, all right, well, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm not going to alarm anyone. I alarmed my parents, but they got it figured out. So props to the people working. They got it figured out. And I only ended up getting here 2 hours later than I was supposed to. But yeah, so I basically missed my flight. I could have made it if I wasn't checking my bag, but that just wasn't, I couldn't check my bag or not check my bag.
So you just hung out at the Birmingham Airport for hours?
Well, no, by the time I got through security, I was boarding the next flight.
Okay, so if you are traveling early, which, by the way, I've got a 5:16 a.m. flight, but it's coming out of a different city, I was like, nobody's going to be in TSA that early.
Contrary.
So I'm wrong? Okay.
Contrary.
Yes, I texted Dunaway immediately, and I said, get in your car now and go ahead and drive to the airport, which probably ended up extending his stay there by a couple hours.
That did not help him.
It was packed. I've never seen that many people sprinting through the Birmingham airport. I don't know what was going on.
Wow.
But I made it.
Well, good for you. We're glad you made it, little T. All right, you're going to make it over to the arena. Look, Auburn is going to run Alabama State out of the building. 32.5-point favorites today. It's this game that's going on right now that you're about to go watch that has a lot of people fascinated because if you've got it on the screen, I know you haven't walked over to the arena yet, a lot of Louisville red in there, and that's been a discussion about Louisville playing this close to home as a top 10 team and Auburn maybe having to face them in the next round.
That has been a major talking point. And at this point, it's like no reason to complain about it from the Auburn perspective because that's not going to change anything. But Auburn has played better on the road. That's something that we've talked about with Alabama too this season. And their guards' 3-point shooting percentage, Tahad's shooting 15% better from 3 on the road than in comparison to at home. Miles, Kelly, Chad, all of their shooting percentages are better away from Neville Arena from 3, which is something that I have found kind of puzzling all season because you would think that these guys would be more comfortable playing at home. So that's something that I'm going to be keeping an eye on, watching Auburn play today and then again tomorrow. And then this is a stat that Dunaway actually talked to me about a couple days ago. Both Louisville and Creighton are so dependent on 3-point shots to win games, on making 3-point shots. And Auburn has allowed the fewest number of 3-point shots by opponents taken in Division I basketball.
Wow.
I think it was a CBS article. He sent it to me. But that was something that was interesting to me because there were a lot of people talking about, this Louisville team should not be seeded as an 8 seed. And I know that y'all talked about that a lot yesterday, but I found that very interesting because if they're that heavily reliant on it, Auburn's perimeter defense has been pretty good.
Is there any nervous energy based on the fact that Auburn lost that game to Yale last year? I mean, has that been any kind of buzz amongst the players, the coaches, the fans, anything you're hearing on that side?
Okay, I don't know if y'all saw this. This was a couple months ago, but Chad Baker-Mazara someone wrote a story on Chad Baker-Mazara. I cannot remember who it was. And that was talked about, the Yale game, because obviously, he was in the headlines of all of those stories. And he said that all summer, Bruce Pearl had a whiteboard in the locker room, or maybe it was like in the entrance to their little common area, somewhere that they frequently walk past with the score of the Yale game on it. And I think when this season started, it was gone. But throughout all of their summer workouts, all that stuff, whatever they do during the off season, that was there. And I feel like now it's just an unspoken, everyone knows what happened. And some of the younger players had been asked about it. And they said, we weren't here, or the transfers. We weren't here, but we saw what they went through. We saw the pain that they endured after losing that game. And so not only are we going to fight for just the team because we want to win, but for those guys that went through that last year, and this will be some of their last time, their first loss will be their last time playing in Auburn uniform for a majority of this team because of how much seniority they have. But I don't think it's making the players nervous. I think that's something that will definitely be seen a lot on social media today in terms of fans, can't overlook it. And maybe it is beneficial that happened in the long run. The team knows no opponent can go overlooked. And I know that, coaches are trying to say every opponent, it's a nameless, faceless opponent, but it's human nature, I feel like, to kind of move on to the next mentally. But I think that will help keep them all locked in terms of, the game in front of them.
Any random behind-the-scenes story of Bruce Pearl calling Tony Bennett? Because, we talked about this for a minute, but I don't think enough people make the comparison of Virginia being the first ever 16 to lose to 1. Different with Auburn and Yale last year.
Yeah.
But with Auburn coming back as the number 1 overall seed, I mean, this would be an incredible story, much like Virginia. Yeah, we got bounced in the first round, but the very next year we won 6 games, won a national championship.
It came at Auburn's expense when they won that national championship.
It did, and controversial calls. Yeah. But, if Bruce was – because I know Bruce and Tony know each other. Hey, how did you approach that second tournament going in after losing the first round the year before?
Not that I'm aware of. It very well could have happened, and I don't know. I haven't heard any talks of that. But this is also something that I find very interesting. The first stretch of the season, once Auburn was playing well, but Tennessee was ranked number 1, I felt like when they were chasing that, when they felt like people doubted them because they were like, we're winning these games, we're not losing. So what more do we have to do to prove? And I feel like a lot of people are doubting them right now because of they lost 3 of their last 4, that whole storyline. And I kind of feel like this team plays better when they're doubted and when they feel like that, we have to prove ourselves. Oh, these people don't think we're good enough. Well, let's show them. So I don't know if that conversation was had, but I feel like this is a very self-motivated team. That's just my opinion, though.
All right, Little T, you are our social media director. So which one gets us the biggest pop on social media as a bracket punishment? Primitive camping at Oak Mountain. The loser of the backroom bracket challenge has to accompany the loser of me, Lance, and Dunaway. 24 hours camping at Oak Mountain. We do a video vlog. That's one option. The Welcome Center. You're familiar with the Welcome Center, where we go welcome people to Alabama. There'll be 2 of us there.
Yeah, you're part of that, Taylor.
Yeah. The spray tan. The spray tan at SEC Media Days. This is very specific to me, but if I lose, I have to do the show one day from Aliceville Women's Prison. And maybe do some interviews there. We might could do like a last call there, but for them, last call could be a totally different meaning.
Well, no, I want somebody that's not killed one husband. I want somebody that's killed multiple husbands.
That's right. We could ask them a lot of questions. One of us has to caddy 18 holes for the backroom loser playing golf. None of them ever. Has anybody back there ever played golf in the back room?
Have y'all?
It's been a while, but yes, it has happened.
Okay.
Yeah, Melton would need a rake to
I
play
don't know
golf.
how Melton could play golf.
I'm more of the top golf, just
Yeah,
hit
yeah.
it as far as you can, kind of.
I've played putt-putt.
Okay, that does not count. So we've got to
I think
caddy.
it's close enough.
We've got to caddy for somebody in the back room. One of us is to caddy for 18 holes. Or 24 hours in a haunted sanitarium, which exists near you in Kentucky somewhere.
Oh, should I go scout it out?
You can if you want to. Waverly Hills Sanitarium is the name of it.
Okay. I think the Welcome Center has potential. I'm looking at this strictly from a content
Correct.
perspective.
That's why I asked, yeah.
Because I think at media days it would be funny and I think it would be very embarrassing. But wouldn't y'all would carry on as you typically do?
Yeah.
I guess it would be a topic of conversation in the interviews. The reactions, I think, when y'all sit down with people could be good. I kind of think the Welcome Center, but I also feel like that could be a safety risk.
Well, if we do the spray tan, I think we've all got to agree that we can't acknowledge we lost a bet.
100%.
Will that happen,
You
though?
just got to be like, this is my new look.
Yeah, you just got to roll with it and just own it. Yeah, man, I got a spray tan yesterday.
Oh, so you're gonna okay.
Yeah.
No,
I mean,
I think that
if
would
you
be-
sat down with Andy Staples from On 3 and you were like, yeah, man, I lost a bet, it just doesn't hit right.
That's right. No, we want Andy, like, awkwardly in the interview looking at us like, why is brown orange?
Yeah, and I don't think anybody would be surprised that Dunaway got one.
I mean, I think, those are a lot of good options. I need to think on this. I think the camping, there would need to be some sort of caveat. There would need to be like a list of tasks.
Yeah.
Like, are you going to sit in the woods?
Well,
Which, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, there
and I
would
know
be a
there's
list
other
of tasks.
Yeah,
Building
kill,
a fire.
cook an animal.
Yeah, skin and cook an animal, something like that. Smuff is right. Spray Tan Man should have to do man on the street stuff in Atlanta. Media Days is in Atlanta this year.
Yeah,
we
could
good to
do
go
that.
do some man on the street stuff. Yeah.
not one of them sticks out over the others to me. I think that good content could come from all.
Yeah, now the problem, though, Taylor, with some of these is we are going to have to include somebody else.
Yeah.
If we're getting all that content, like if we're doing the camping, if we're going to the Welcome Center.
Okay, the Welcome Center kind of freaks me out, to
Yeah.
be completely honest. At media days, I would take care of it all because I'll do that anyway.
I mean, spray tan it's what the people want is spray tan.
The haunted sanitarium doesn't freak you out, Taylor?
Well, no, it does.
I know the
that
Welcome
freaks
Center
me out
would.
a lot. But
Yeah.
a Welcome Center, you don't know who's going to be rolling through there at 3 o'clock in the morning.
The sanitarium, you're not going to die.
Yeah.
The Welcome Center, you could die. You could disappear forever.
You could disappear in the sanitarium.
Yeah,
you might get possessed.
Filming the spray tan, Melton says, is a viral hit. I mean, I do think there is so much content from the spray tan.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
So is it a full body spray?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
How long does it take to get that off? Do you have any idea?
I've never gotten a spray tan.
I bet
I would ask
EG.
EG.
Yeah, EG 100% has.
On the meltdown the other day, EG was saying that spray tans have changed since what we're thinking of, just making it super orange. So she volunteered her expertise and knowledge of spray tans to try and curate the perfect orange. spray tan.
I would trust her.
And that's fine, but I just want to know how long it takes to get off. And like how long? Do we only have to wear it the one day, or is it the entirety of SEC
No, you've
Media
got to.
Day?
It wears out over time, right? Like it just progressively gets lighter and lighter and lighter. It'll be all the media days. You'll be orange.
It fades.
Yeah, it fades, but it won't fade that quickly. I don't think. Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah, and the problem is my team that's going to kill me is orange.
Clemson loses to McNeese today. You got to worry about that.
I got Clemson making a big run.
Yeah.
Taylor, big run.
Well, I wish you the best of luck.
Well, Brown
That seemed
typically,
genuine.
I mean, I think everybody would agree the funniest would be if Dunaway has to get it.
Yeah.
Brown typically loses these, but I have put myself out on a limb now.
Do you want to get a spray tan?
Hell no.
I
had to get, this is so bad, it's a true story, Taylor. I'll tell you this and we'll let you roll. I had to get in a tanning bed one time because I was in a buddy's wedding in L.A. and like everybody was tan and it was a December wedding or it was January wedding. And so his wife called and she was like, you cannot show up for these pictures and be Alabama pale. Like you have absolutely got to have tone. And so I had to tan for like 2 days and it was absolutely miserable. And that was just getting in and out for like, 15, 20 minutes. To put that on And to have to roll around and what it would do to your clothes and the sheets and everything, the smell.
Well, and a tanning bed looks more natural than a spray tan. I feel like spray tans are very, very noticeable. A tanning bed's like, okay, you went to the beach maybe. But I don't know. I like it.
Okay.
I like it.
I think spray tan. I mean,
I guess,
it's the popular choice.
In July, we're going to be dark as is because you guys play golf. I get out at the pool.
I know.
So it's gonna be strange, but I'll roll with it.
Yep, I think it's a popular choice. All right, Taylor's.
That's what the chat wants.
Taylor's. It is what they want. Is about to head to Rupp. The coverage from Lexington and Cleveland, presented by our friends at Culver's. The deluxe fresh, never frozen ground beef on a butter bun with lettuce, tomato, onion, pickle, and American cheese, cooked to order. Create your own concrete mixers as well. Choose from Culver's many toppings. Have them added to your custard and blended together. Culver's, welcome to delicious. Do you have an idea what time you and Dunaway are doing the basketball show tonight?
We'll go live after the Auburn game. I'll go to the locker room to talk to the players, and then right after that, we'll go live.
So probably within an hour after Auburn finishes.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So set your alerts so you know when they're live on the basketball show and see all the coverage at Next Round Live.
One final thing, more, at least from what you've seen, more Tennessee or Auburn fans in Lexington?
I saw a couple. I really haven't seen many Tennessee fans, but I will say I was there for a portion of the Tennessee open practice yesterday. There were a decent amount of Auburn fans because they opened the practices up just to the general public. So if you're here for the game and want to go watch when we were able to go in there, I haven't seen a ton of Tennessee fans, but I also haven't been seeking them out. I've been there and then at the hotel. So I haven't been out and about much.
All right, well, enjoy the games, and we'll see you a little bit after Auburn's win over Alabama State for the basketball show. The coverage presented by Culver's. Thank you very much, Taylor.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Be safe. That is Taylor Korn from
interesting
Lexington.
Update right now, though, out of Lexington. Creighton leads 16-15, 11:55 to go. You're doing a really bad job of the remote.
Well, the remote's not connected. That's my problem.
The Blue Jays, 1 of 7 behind the arc, and they're up right now with 11:43 to go in the first. That's actually a good sign for Creighton.
Yeah, I would agree with you 100% on that. All right, a couple things to tell you about before we get to the break. Way to Wellness is one of those. aplanforme.com is the website. aplanforme.com. It's aplanforme.com because it is a personalized plan for you to get yourself healthier and jumpstart your weight loss and get better numbers in your life. Leslie and her board-certified staff will evaluate you and make sure you are on the proper program for the healthiest way to lose weight and get to that target weight for you and those target numbers for you. Way to Wellness, aplanforme.com. Make an appointment today and swing by and see that great staff. Please tell them the Next Round sent you. aplanforme.com.
Hey, and go back to 1988, Lawrence, Kansas. If Bill Self, as a young assistant under Larry Brown, would have known Dr. B back then. Maybe he never has to get that high-tech toupee that Brown and Dunaway love to dog him out about. Dr. B is the absolute man. For more than 20 years, women and men have turned to Dr. Beckenstein for a range of cosmetic and reconstructive procedures. Right now, T3 has that new test. So easy, painless. It's affordable. Takes 4 seconds to perform. It will show which medicines and compounds will specifically work for your hair loss. There are over 10 categories of agents they can use, knowing they will work for you. They will custom compound these agents in pill or topical forms. You pick and choose which agents you want. Men and women ordering Hims, other products online, don't even know if they work. Stop wasting your money and critical time while you're losing your hair on treatments that aren't working for you. Come see Dr. B and that great staff. Find out what will work for you. 205-319-0316. Tell them the Next Round sent you. For more information, t3hair.net.
What Nate Oats says about Grant Nelson's status and trash next on the Next Round.
Follow the Next Round on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Next Round Live.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
Your representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
Hey, for all of your IT and printing needs, reach out to our friends at Xerox Business Solutions. Look, I'm still one of those old school guys. I print my notes every single day for the show. If you watch the show here on the Next Round, you see all the notes in front of me. From day one, Xerox Business Solutions, they've been with us here at the Next Round. Local for over 45 years. For all of your IT and printing needs, visit XeroxBusinessSolutions.com or call 205-969-3000. That's 205-969-3000.
If you are a business that does a lot of printing, like a car dealership, mortgage company, real estate office, tax office, bank, school, or university, print more and spend less with ImageCraft. ImageCraft is located at 1151 Gadsden Highway in Trussville, just down from the Pinnacle Shopping Center, and online at imagecraft.net. They carry all the major brands like HP, Brother, Canon, Dell, Lexmark, Konica Minolta, Kyocera, Ricoh, Sharp, and Xerox. Shop in-store, mention TNR for a 10% discount. Shop online at imagecraft.net with coupon code TNR10. ImageCraft. Print more, spend less.
Hey, Lance Taylor from the next round to tell you about my friends at Michelson Laser Vision, located conveniently UAB Highlands. Almost 20 years ago, I went in for the procedure. Only took 12 minutes for both eyes. When I went in, I had 20/200 vision. I was legally blind. Now I have 20/15 vision, still 19 years later. Make the call today. Schedule a hassle-free consultation. 969-8100. Dr. Mark Michelson, Dr. Jen Michelson, Michelson Laser Vision. Make sure you tell them the next round sent you. 969-8100 or MichelsonLaserVision.com. Stop by the New York Butcher Shop and pick up the finest in certified Angus prime beef steaks and burgers, premium pork chops, ribs, and all-natural chicken cut to order just for you. Their chef-prepared entrees and side dishes are the perfect dinner-to-go choice for your family and are ready to heat at home. With a great selection of fine wines and desserts, the New York Butcher Shop is your one-stop dinner shop. 2 locations to serve you, Cahaba Heights and on Highway 119 in Greystone. The New York Butcher Shop. Rare quality, well-done service.
Celebrate the best time of year, tournament time, with MyBookie.ag. Sign up right now with code NEXTROUND and receive a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Tournament time is here, so enjoy it even more by playing along at MyBookie.ag. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie.ag. Use code NEXTROUND on your initial deposit for a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000, plus a $10 casino chip. Don't get caught by the buzzer. Sign up now at MyBookie.ag, code NEXTROUND.
It's bow time. Tired of choosing between sweet and savory? Why not have both? Introducing Bojangles' new chicken and bowberry waffles. The bold Cajun chicken filet you love, now drizzled with a bowberry honey glaze and sandwiched between 2 warm waffles. Which means your favorite meal of the day just met your new favorite dish. And lucky for you, it's served all day. But it's only here for a limited time, so try chicken and bowberry waffles at Bojangles today. It's bow time.
Things fall apart. There's even a book about it, but that doesn't mean you have to break the bank to fix them. Ryan Brown here for the next round. Our friends at Mortgage Right have a new renovation option that will make repairs and other home improvements easy. If you've recently purchased a home and find yourself short on cash, or you're looking to buy a fixer-upper, Mortgage Right's renovation loan program can help you spruce up your space. Repairs can be made to your roof, plumbing, flooring, and more with the help of top-notch mortgage professionals. So get your fix by visiting mortgageright.com/TNR. And MLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender.
I'm attorney Alexander Shinar, Alabama born, Alabama raised, and ready to fight for your rights. I have one of the largest firms in Alabama, and we are here to help you get the compensation you deserve. Call me, Alabama, 323-1000.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services being performed is greater than those of other lawyers.
So we're going to get to trash in 1 second, but back to Lexington. Creighton leading Louisville 28-21 with 7:30 to go in the first there. And again, I think this is really good news for the Blue Jays. They're 1 of 7 behind the arc, and we talk about them living and dying behind the arc. And on the other side, Louisville 3 of 6 behind the arc, and they're still down 7 with 7.5 minutes to go in the first. So that is our first update. The only game that is actually live right now is right there, the South Region first round, Louisville and Creighton, the 8-9 matchup with the Blue Jays leading 28-21. Brown, I was saying, Creighton's 1 of 7 behind the arc. Louisville's 3 of 6, and they're down 7.
Yeah, it's hard to believe when you're 3 of 6 and down 7.
Yeah.
You expect better than that.
Now, I will say they've turned it over 4 times already.
That hurts you.
And they've already got 4 personal fouls. So, I don't know. That'll be one of those I expect runs back and forth. I expect a really lively crowd.
You're getting that, but it's Louisville fans.
And I will tell you, I don't think that affects our bracket one way or another. Now, these things have come down to 1 point before, so I've got Creighton in the first round. You've got Creighton.
Yep.
Dunaway's got Creighton. We've all got Auburn in the second round.
Auburn, yeah. So really, this is one of those kind of it's a free play for you in those terms. Before we get to trash, a reminder, Urology Centers of Alabama, make sure your urological health is where it needs to be. Men, Always need to worry about this, but ladies too. 930-0920, 930-0920, or Urology Centers, Alabama, to find the location nearest you. Make sure your urological health is where it needs to be as you age. Everything from kidney stones through the whole gamut there. 205-930-0920, UrologyCentersAlabama.com. Always pay attention to that with Urology Centers of Alabama. Michael asked, can we come up with a bracket punishment? I think we've agreed that the spray tan is going to be it. You don't want to lose this one?
Misery loves company. It would be fun to have one of the backroom guys hang out at a 24-hour. I would actually rather do the 24 hours at the rest stop than the spray tan. You?
Oh, yeah. I mean, we can change it.
I think that makes it a worse punishment then, doesn't it?
Yeah, no. The spray tan's the worst punishment. I would agree with you. The spray tan's the worst punishment.
Yeah, I'm sitting there
thinking.
thinking.
Also, I have just found out that neither me nor Tim Milton have made a March Madness bracket. So unless we want to throw Scott under the bus, couldn't have the worst bracket in.
With the spray tan, y'all don't really need one.
It's amazing you guys work at the next round. You go to 11 movies together a week, and you haven't filled out a bracket. I mean, and you can't fill one out now, right? I mean, it's closed.
Yeah, it's closed.
Locked. Yep.
Oh, okay. That's kind of
an easy way for you guys to get out of this.
That's right. Well, it turns out we don't have a bracket.
Well, I mean, if it was going to be part of the punishment, we probably should have found out, at least a day before the brackets close.
All right, here's Nate Oats. I promised Nate Oats. Here's what he said about the health of Grant Nelson from Cleveland earlier this morning. Dunaway up there covering it. Here's what the coach had to say.
Coach, any update on Grant's health, and do you expect him to play tomorrow?
Yeah, I mean, our trainer's saying he's day-to-day. He just yesterday started doing basketball, skill workouts. He did not go on our live play and practice today, so it'll be Grant wants to play. He's a competitor. He played great in the NCAA Tournament last year. It'll end up being a game-time decision based on what he feels like in the morning, but if he does end up playing, he won't have practiced anything live up until then, and I think it's looking a little better, obviously, for Sunday than maybe Friday, but there's a chance he could play, so they're going to wait to make a decision until see what he looks like tomorrow morning.
I mean, everything they've said has been positive towards him.
Yeah.
Towards him playing.
And again, I don't think that, obviously it's an advantage for anybody that plays Alabama without Grant Nelson, but I don't think this is something that you would mislead. Like, I believe if Grant wasn't going to play, much like Keyshawn Gilbert for Iowa State, I think you would just come out and say, hey, look, he's not going to be available for this tournament.
That was Nate Oats talking to the media. Again, Dunaway and Little T with coverage there at Next Round Live. Follow that and set your alerts so you know when they're live with the basketball show. Until then, let's do trash. Hit it, Tyler.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot. I understand.
LT's Trash is presented by Mortgage Right. Mortgages done the right way.
Hey, if you're looking for a new home, our friends at Mortgage Right here to help. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned home buying veteran, their great service and low rates make the process easy. Speaking of veterans, Veteran Founded right here in Birmingham. So remember, whether you're looking for your final home, your first home, whether you have a big down payment or need 100% financing, Mortgage Right, one-stop shop for mortgages. Visit them online, mortgageright.com. Call that Birmingham office, 205-900-7200, NMLS 2239, Equal Housing Lender. Beloved piece of history will soon be hitting the auction block, courtesy of Sotheby's. The auction house confirmed that an original screen-used model of E.T. from Steven Spielberg's 1982 sci-fi classic E.T. will be offered up along with items from the man who brought the iconic movie character to life, Carlo Rambaldi. Now, the model comes from a personal collection of the Oscar-winning special effects and makeup effects artist who has a long list of credits on high-profile films like King Kong, Close Encounters of the Third Kind, Alien, The Never-Ending Story, Conan the Destroyer, and Dune. Design developed 1981, standing just over 3 feet. The E.T. creation was used in the well-known closet scene, which finds the alien attempting to disguise himself among the stuffed animals. The E.T. model will be offered with an estimate of between $600,000 and $900,000.
That's steep. I was just not a huge fan of the movie. I mean, I watched it as a kid, but it's not like one of those sentimental I think I've only watched it the one time as a kid.
I remember not seeing it until like 1987 or 88, and everybody's like, I cannot believe you have not seen that movie. It was like a Ryan Brown moment for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was good. I thought it had, an emotional arc.
Sure, I mean.
It was much better back in the 80s. That thing, those special effects, how you won something for that.
Yeah, I know.
That was like something that we could put together in arts and crafts.
It looks like a bad ET. It looks like somebody tried to make it and like, oh, yeah, you did great, little fella. That's a good ET.
You're not going to pay $900,000 for that?
I am going to pass on that, Lance. I'm with you. I think I can make a better one. Now, it doesn't have the history of actually being the one that was used. But
now, this is amazing. We talk about tickets all the time. Our friends at ATIX. We talk about how difficult some of these tickets might be in the NCAA tournament. A scheduled trip to renew your driver's license in South Florida is so highly sought after, you would assume big-time artist is performing. The Miami-Dade County Tax Collector's Office announced on Monday that it uncovered a network of scalpers who hoarded free DMV appointments and resold them for up to $250. Now, while the office is taking steps to stomp out this type of practice, going to the DMV have become such a torturous experience that drivers were willing to shell out to avoid it in the first place. Scalpers amassed appointments using bots, fake accounts to exploit an online system. Tax collector's office spotted 200 suspicious appointments in the first 3 weeks after opening a new downtown Miami location. This, according to the Miami Herald. Agency has its sights set on individuals who are part of local driving schools as suspects in strangling the DMV system. Now, Miami-Dade County Tax Collector Daryl Fernandez said in a release, quote, "We know who they are and how they operate. We will not accept any appointment obtained through a system abuse."
This is remarkable.
Now, one woman spoke how her husband arrived at 9 a.m. to renew his hazmat license. He was turned away at 1 p.m. as the staff was inundated with people seeking other services.
My gosh.
Can you imagine being there for 4 hours and then being turned away?
I really cannot. And I can't imagine paying that kind of money for a ticket just to go in and renew my driver's license either. So, I mean, I guess you're screwed either way. Like, if I just do it the normal way, I mean, do I have to go multiple days, maybe?
I just, there are certain things that irritate you more. You start to absolutely hate the older you get. Lines are one of those things. Like, I don't like going to a restaurant. If I go to a restaurant, they're like, we're on a 45-minute wait.
No, just go somewhere else.
Yeah, a lot of times it does mean it's like 10 or 15.
Yeah.
So I might put myself on that wait with the phone number, go across the street, try to get something if it opens up long enough. But I'm just not going to sit on a bench and wait for 30 or 45 minutes.
No, I'm with you 100% on that. You can't renew your driver's license online, at least in Alabama, I don't think. Chad is asking that because they got to do the photo, right? You got to go in to renew your license. Can you do it online?
Tim says you can renew online.
Can you, Melton?
Yep, I've done it.
You have?
Yeah.
What do they do about the photo? Just use your old photo?
They use your old photo.
Interesting.
Yeah, but wonder if you've changed your look.
Well, that's happened with me.
Yeah. So are you unbearded in your photo?
I am. Well, not unbearded, but I don't have the massive mangy beard that I have now.
Okay. Yeah. Mangy? I've never thought of it as mangy.
I've still got long hair in my photo.
Do you?
Yeah.
Interesting. Like, I don't remember. You said yesterday hair touched your collar when you got here. I don't remember.
I do remember that.
Oh, yeah. It was like past my shoulders.
Because I remember one day he just walked in and he had the I don't want to call it a schoolboy cut. I don't know exactly compared to what you had, but it really jumped out. Because we only knew Jeeves with that long hair for, I don't know, close to a year maybe?
Probably around that long.
God, hey, nothing like karaoke rage, right?
Oh, yeah. I always get fired up about karaoke.
Upset that the karaoke machine at the Florida bar was not working, a man pointed a pistol at another patron and fired off a round, according to police, who ended up arresting the suspect, a convicted felon barred from possessing a firearm. Police allege Aaron Jablonski, 34 years old, was at the Overtime Sports Bar around 2:30 a.m. on Saturday. Does he look a little like our man Jace? Talking about Jace that listens to the show.
I don't remember what he looks like.
Yeah, in the eyes a little bit. I think he does.
Maybe. I don't know. I can't picture him in my mind.
Yeah, I think he looks a little like Jace. Now, this happened 2:30 a.m. Saturday when the karaoke unavailability resulted in him exiting the bar, quote, upset about the music. Now, outside of the business, 26-year-old man tried to get Jablonski to calm down, according to the arrest affidavit. He was denied karaoke. Jablonski was not in the calming down mood, according to cops. Jablonski allegedly pulled a handgun from his waist, pointed it at the victim, saying, "I don't give an effing care." This was seen by witnesses that he brandished the firearm, then he fired off a round. Victim, whose Facebook page was several photos of him performing karaoke, told police he was in fear that Jablonski would kill him. When officers arrived at the bar, Jablonski was still in possession of the Glock 9mm pistol, which investigators say was illegal since Jablonski was previously convicted of battery on a law enforcement officer. Jablonski was arrested on a pair of felony raps, aggravated assault, felon in possession of a firearm. He's locked up in county jail in lieu of a $40,000 bond. Judges ordered Jablonski to have no contact with the victim and stay away from the overtime bar.
I have done karaoke just a couple times in my life, I think. I'm not a big karaoke guy. I've seen you do it once. What song did you do?
I don't know. I'm not a big karaoke guy.
No, but
either.
I've seen you do it once. Well, we did it for a charity event was the reason we did it.
Yeah. I've done it a couple of times.
Yeah, I'm not a big karaoke guy myself. And a little of it goes a long way, too. Like watching people do it, it's funny like the first couple times.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Is you've got really just two sets of people. The people that are karaoke like go-tos that absolutely love it, that think they're really good.
Right.
And then you've got the other people that are awful.
Yeah.
And I don't know what's more annoying.
The awful can be funny. The ones that are really good sometimes are just, they think they're too good.
Right.
Like, yeah,
it's like
that's the thing,
watching
yeah.
a version of The Voice light.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You're probably no better than 1,000 people, but you think you are.
Finally, police near the northern tip of Michigan's Lower Peninsula were called to a motel to help secure an unusual piece of left-behind property, a live alligator.
I mean, that is a weird thing to leave behind. Don't disagree.
I had a fascination. I mean, that might be a heavy way to put it, but as a kid, I thought the alligator was really, really cool. Like, I would have wanted a pet alligator. Like our man,
he has a
Carson
Crocky J.
Steele, Crocky J.
Yeah.
They're probably not good pets. The Sheboygan Police Department said officers were called to a Pine Rivers motel room with housekeeping staff. They found a live alligator in a recently vacated room. Now, according to the motel's manager, Gary, told the Detroit Free Press, quote, "We just went in to clean the room when my nephew looked under the bed while he was there." When you've got a family running a motel, it's an interesting business.
It is an interesting business.
Went on to say he was real friendly, so he didn't feel real scared. He let the police officers hold him and all. I mean, it was a really friendly gator, end quote. Police determined that the 3-foot alligator named Wally belonged to a man who owns multiple exotic animals and takes them to elementary schools for demonstrations. What was your guy's name?
Mr. Yarbrough. He was the snake man. He didn't have an alligator, but he had a bunch of snakes. An alligator would have fit right in, though. Just make it a reptile show at that point, right?
Yeah.
That is trash. Presented by Mortgage Rate.
They are your mortgage experts, whether you're looking for your first home or your final home, no cost or obligation. To find out what you can qualify for, 205-900-7200 or mortgageright.com.
2 games underway. MyBookie.ag had Louisville a 7.5-point underdog. Creighton's already up 15 in that game. Late first half in that one. High Point was an 8-point dog. They're just down 2 to Purdue midway first half in that one. So NCAA tournament underway. A little bit later on tonight, Auburn, a 32.5-point favorite. Clemson, this is a big game for Lance. Clemson, a 7.5-point favorite over McNeese. What we agree might be the most entertaining game of the night is BYU and VCU. 2-point favorite, BYU Cougars. And this one, all those games at MyBookie.ag, code next round. Sign on right now and use code next round at MyBookie.ag. And you get a 50% bonus there in the sports book up to $1,000. 50% bonus up to $1,000. And also a $10 casino chip at mybookie.ag. This cut 13 right here, Jeeves. Almost called you Tyler. Is this cut 13, Jeeves? Here is Nate Oats. Games in the NCAA tournament. Often we talked with Stephen Pearl about this. You get refs you haven't seen before. And Nate Oats says, actually, a lot of times that means they're called tighter. Here's the Alabama coach.
I actually addressed it with our team today as LeBaron fouled somebody in practice today on a blatant, obvious one that I mean, it seemed to me blatant, obvious that should get called 100% of the time everywhere across the globe in basketball. But for didn't always get called in our league. So
wow.
I just said, look, some of the physicality that some of our opponents have been able to get away with in our league, it's not going to go in this tournament. I expect it to be a much tighter whistle in the NCAA tournament, and I think we haven't been, as physical in the fouling aspect all the time as maybe some other teams in our league. I think maybe we'll have a little less adjustment to the whistle. But, if a team tries to get physical with us in the tournament, we're used to physicality. I mean, everybody tries to get physical with us, stop our offense. We're the number one scoring offense in the country, and grabbing, holding, not letting us cut. It's been an effective strategy if it doesn't get called. So I think our guys will be able to play with the physicality, and I'm actually welcoming having a little bit tighter whistle to give more freedom of movement, hopefully, than what maybe we've had in the regular season.
Interesting. So he embraces it.
Is that being critical of SEC officiating?
It sounded like it. A foul that's a foul anywhere across the globe didn't always get called in our conference this year, though. Sounded like a coach frustrated with the way his team got calls. That is Alabama coach Nate Oats. Crimson Tide in action tomorrow. We'll talk more about that game tomorrow. Obviously, as Dunaway will be live with us from Cleveland leading up to tip. Bama 23-point favorite. Champies brought you this hour. Sterling and the gang at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken. We appreciate them always sponsoring the final hour of the show. Go by and grab a great lunch there at Champy's World Famous Fried Chicken, Highway 119 in Alabaster, champyschicken.com. Getaway day for LT. Have a great spring break trip, Lance.
You too, my friend. Are we doing our Final Four or not?
My Final Four, Michigan State.
Oh, wow.
Florida, Houston, and Duke. I got Houston beating Florida for the national championship.
I have got the Auburn Tigers out of the South. I have Florida out of the West. I have got Duke out of the East.
That's all one seeds, Lance.
And then I've got Clemson out of the Midwest.
That's not a one seed, Lance.
I have Duke in Florida playing for the national championship with Duke cutting down the nets.
There you go. That's our Final Four. Basketball show. Dunaway will give his a little bit later on.
I'm leaning on the ACC to keep me from being orange.
I noticed heavy ACC to avoid the spray tan. Go McNeese. That'll do it for the show. Have a great afternoon. Enjoy the tournament. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock.